How's it going? I know it's going to take a minute for this to get out. We're like 2 minutes late, which is like on time in our house. And I don't know if you can see. That's Fergus's ear. Fergus actually, yeah, you can see his little head right there. Is that not ridiculous? He's like
he stole my seat.
Will you let me? But I thought
I'm gonna give him those.
I'd make us dinner. Well, he can stay there. I'm not sitting down. You can have mine. And I'll tell you what we're doing. And we're making dinner. And I thought we'd eat dinner and just have a cozy chat. I don't know if you guys can see this little rose gold crown. But Mona, who is on here, sent it to me. And it says Oat Queen. And it delights me. I wore it all day, didn't I?
Yeah, you've been wearing it all. You wore it a couple times. You wore it out even one time so far.
Right? I know. And Lydia's here. So hello, Lydia. Hello, Betsy. Hello, Mona. I'm going to turn this down just a little bit. So I'm making stuff that's from different classes. I think there's a cheese recipe up here on YouTube. But if you came to the mason jar soup class, I made jarred instant tomato soup. And I made it two ways. I made it one way that is even more Sophos compatible, as long as you're okay with rolled oats, or if you're okay with a non-dairy milk powder. I think rolled oats is usually where I go for most of those. And so I'm heating it up for the first time. So I used half almond milk and half water, and it's thick and extra rich because Cheryl said she really wanted some. And I also found some faux Ezekiel bread in cleaning out the fridge, and I feel like I deserve a treat. That fridge was nasty. And so I made some compliant cheese, and we can talk about that a little bit. Okay, well, that was unpleasant. All right, so, and Mona, who got me my cool necklace, thank you so much. I really love it. Kelly's laughing at Fergus. Yep, so is Apple laughing at Fergus.
Well, and the dog and the cat are in cahoots because Max came in here whining for a treat, and so I gave him a treat. As soon as I gave him a treat, and Fergus
is it's getting warmer.
Going, where's mine? Where's mine?
Well, they do what they can. Now, I want to tell you, I just made this cheese. Like, I made it like 20 minutes ago. And so it's still a little warm. So normally, like in the middle, it's not going to be set up all the way. So I'm going to cut from the ends to make our sandwiches. But you literally make this mixture.
It's kind of wobbly.
But see, like, look at this. So this is the pan I made the cheese in. And let's see. Okay, so what happens is as it hardens on, so you can see it comes off little cheese slices. That's how you can tell it's done. Well, here's a big cheese slice off of the spatula I used.
Wow.
Do you want to taste some of it?
I'll take a little bite.
Well, all right, so I'm coming back to the other one. Sorry, I'm doing 7 things at the same time. But so I blended some stuff up. This one has chickpeas in it as the base instead of cashews. It doesn't have any oil in it. It has a couple of special ingredients, and we can talk about that a little bit too. And like I said, this is the tomato soup.
I just gave him one, and now he's in here limping exception.
Come here. He's got a real bad limp. Come here. Come here. Come say hello to the peoples. No?
You gotta go see
Come here. Come here. Okay. Do we have a peanut butter mat?
I'll find some.
Okay. It's an exciting night. Maybe it's not cozy holiday chat, but frantic weeknight dinner chat. And I'm trying not to overheat my mouse because I have, when I did a sandwich class a little while ago, it's just a panini press, but it makes things feel so special. And then, like I said, this is the tomato soup mix with water and milk, just like Mom used to make Campbell's soup for me. So let me get some more comments and then I'll make us some sandwiches and then eventually I will settle and we will chat more. We are also, this is not sponsored, but there are these cool non-alcoholic beers that I like from Athletic, and this is called Lodge Life. They have mostly vegan flavors. There are a few that have lactose, but they're real specific about which ones do, so it's real easy to see. But this is like, what does it say? Inspired by days at the cabin and nights round the fire. It's a campfire brew with cinnamon, vanilla, and cacao nibs. And Cheryl and I split it. They're pretty low calorie, like I think it's 90 calories for the whole can. And so this is our gigantic non-alcoholic treat for the evening. And it's a nice dark beer. I can let you guys see this too. And here you go. When I was drinking non-alcoholic beer decades ago, there was very few games in town, and flavored or dark beers and things like that were not a choice. So I love the non-alcoholic options. All right. Mary Ellen is here with her cup of coffee. Betsy says, between Fergus and Apple's cat, I'm going into cat withdrawal. I was walking with Faith. We took our walk today instead of Tuesday. And this giant fluffy black cat just ran down their driveway of wherever it lives and was like, hello, ladies, pet me, and was wandering around, was like, I think he wanted us to let him inside the house. But that was not quite our job. Hey, Diana, it's good to see you here. How's your videos going? And Linda says, yum. This luscious square is chickpea cheese. Now, some of you will scoff. So basically, Julie Hassan and some other people started this recipe, and I kind of made it oil-free and added some, I made it with beans. So it's like a can of chickpeas drained, 2 cups of water. There's like a few tablespoons of tapioca starch. There's a couple of tablespoons of carrageenan, food grade carrageenan. So if you don't have an issue or an allergy with it, you should be fine. You could leave it out and it'll be like a sauce. That's what makes it set up like a cheese block. And it's got like onion powder, garlic powder, mustard powder, some turmeric. I put some turmeric and smoked paprika to kind of give it that American cheese sort of look. Because, of course, we want American cheese, grilled cheese with our tomato soup. And if you look on the YouTube channel, if you look up cheese under my channel, I do show making this. I think I made an oat one as well. The chickpea ones work really well. Everybody's getting treats. So Cheryl is giving the whole family treat round 2. Hey, Carrie. Oh, why is that not coming up? There we go. And Gina's here, and Donna's here. Cheryl Diane is here. And I'm coughing right on you. I'm sorry. Lynn J is here. Penny says, can't hear Cheryl. Is your mic turned on?
I lost my ball somewhere.
Okay, but why don't you see if your mic's turned on first? Okay, no one can hear Cheryl. Okay, we're working on that. Oh, no, thank you. So if you guys came in late, this little necklace with the crown, it says Oat Queen on it, and Mona sent it to me, and I'm very proud of that. Thanks, guys. Sorry I didn't get down to this. Was your mic on?
It was on. Can you guys hear me now?
Okay, I'm going to skip to the bottom, and I'll come back. Can you guys hear Cheryl now? Say some...
Hello, hello, hello. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me at all?
I'm going to see. I'll let you guys... No.
Oh, turn the echo cancellation off.
Say something now.
Can you guys hear me now? Can you hear me now?
But, okay. Someone says I hear her.
Hello?
Other people say no. Yes. Okay.
Okay.
Yay.
Oh,
So
no.
evidently echo cancellation cancels out Cheryl. Just saying.
Haven't figured out why it does that yet.
Okay. So for those of you who are coming in, I see more of you coming in. Welcome. Before we get to our cozy holiday chat, I'm making us a cozy dinner to share. So if you guys want to run and get your dinner and come hang out with us with it, or some tea, or a nice piece of fruit, that's all good. So this is some whole food plant-based, no oil, cheese. And I mean, it could be, there is some carrageenan, there is some lactic acid, there is some tapioca starch, but everything else is spices or chickpeas. So it's the best I've had. You say too loud, very loud. Now that Kathy's here, now Kathy is less, or there's some interference. Does that take can you hear Cheryl talking now?
It might be because this thing's not on.
Oh, we'll talk. I can totally talk to you about that. The lactic acid. We just want to get the. No, you can't hear her. Okay, so everybody's saying different things. Okay, Mona and Apple. I know. I was trying to say they were echoes and issues.
Can you put this on? Because that might be part of my being
Yes,
loud.
I can.
I had to get a new one out.
You mean a new one?
I lost my other one going downstairs.
Okay, we'll find it. All right, now she's going to say something. Talk.
Hello.
And make it where they can see you so they know.
Can you hear me? Can you see me? Can
Do you want to see
hear
me shake her
anything?
really hard? No, I'm just kidding.
Gina says it's working.
Okay. Is it better and not all crackly? Okay, you guys let me know. I did turn our sound up a little bit, but that was because everyone said that when we had a guest, it was really loud and we were really quiet. Oh, there is a fan blowing. I have an induction burner. So you probably are hearing the induction burner. I don't think it makes...
All these are good. They're on the same.
Ellen says, Tommy, can you hear me? 100%. Okay, I'm going to go back to the comments before and see if I missed anything really important. And or you could put it back in the comments if I've missed something. Okay. Yeah, sorry about all the Cheryl stuff. And thank you, Apple. Kathy will see our comments. Let's be patient. I appreciate that very, very much. And hello, Davika. Oh, Lainey's Life, nice to see you here. And Susan Crow, yay, it's good to see you. Oh, and Ellen Webb from Pottstown, which just makes me think of that movie.
That's Pottersville.
I know, but it makes me think of that movie every single time.
I know you said, that's what we should watch later.
Let's
watch that.
Okay,
Let's watch it.
I realized last time on our Cozy, I said you should watch Christmas with the Campbells, which I think is delightful, but it is a little more rated R than I thought, language-wise only.
We rewatched it.
Language-wise, it is a little, but I still find it delightful.
It is funny. It is so funny and in a very adult humor.
Language.
In a very adult humor way, but also like there are some parts that are pretty
Yeah, we rewatched it, and I always forget things, and so when
she kept saying, "Oh, if your mom hasn't watched this, we need to tell your mom to watch this. This is not a movie I could watch with my mother."
Well, it is. It's just they do use. So the guy's parents show their love, but you never see any of that on camera. She just
talks about it.
She does say some provocative things to him, but not like you couldn't see it. But I can't say it, but it's like It's just very matter of fact, and you just can't believe there's an older person saying that. So I find it very funny. So I just wanted to add that extra disclaimer. I love it. If you're not
First time
bothered,
you watch it, there are going to be points because
the first time I
because
saw
your
it was a real
mind is
movie.
telling you you're watching this Hallmark Christmas movie, right? And you know the formula for that, and you know how it's going to turn out. But then you're watching this, and your brain's going Hallmark Christmas, and then the things coming out of their mouth, it just
Not Hallmark.
it can't. The two don't go together, and your brain starts going, what?
Well, and the thing is it starts at the very beginning, because I remember at first, because I usually work and watch a movie, and I was going to show you this, and a couple of things. So Apple said, come here, little thing. There we go. I'm slicing this, and again, normally I would let this sit a little bit longer, but see, I can still pick it up. It's just a little soft. Actually, it's not that soft. I put it outside where it's cold, and it was in, so I took the mixture and I poured it into a container that I have somewhere. Cheryl. Oh, I have it over here to show you. I just poured it in here, and it's set. That's how I made the shape that it's in. And then you can cut it, and it melts some. That's the carrageenan too, is what makes it sliceable. Now, what I will tell you is you can make a delightful charcuterie plate with this. So, and what I love to do, isn't it crazy how it slices like that? And the fact I just made it, it's not like a big, long, do all the things. So Apple was saying she makes a Burmese tofu, which is like with chickpea flour that you cook, but using all the flavors of cheese. And that would do the same thing. This is chickpeas, water, nutritional yeast, some spices, tapioca starch, and carrageenan. And I always put lactic acid in because it gives it more of that cheesy bite. If you didn't have lactic acid, you could put a little bit of apple cider vinegar in there. I would do a little bit less, maybe half the amount. Also, someone said, where do I get lactic acid? You get it at Amazon. And I can put a link in once we get settled. But if you look up, I think it's Druid's Grove is vegan and gluten-free. So there we go. Yay, and everybody can hear everybody. I'm seeing. Oh, and Apple said, I'm going to watch that movie tonight. It's so fun. Are you talking about the Pottersville or the Campbells? Okay, got the movie is, okay, disclaimer, this is what I just disclaimed. There are some sexual things said, and there's cursing. And I find it hilarious. But if you're offended by either one of those things, you should not watch it. And I told you so I will not take the blame if you're offended. Christmas with the Campbells, and it's on Hulu. The other movie I like is Pottersville. And I think it's hilarious and quirky and weird. And I think there's only one slightly strange situation that I would not even rate PG, but there's probably cursing in it too. But it's hilarious because then there's like this monster hunter, ghost hunter kind of person that comes in, and it's really silly and hilarious. What's my favorite tempeh recipe? I have a couple on healthyslowcooking.com. Okay, so the soup is kind of ready. I'm going to turn it down just a little bit, keep it warm. And I'm going to put cheese on here and at least start one sandwich, and I'll talk to you. One of my very favorite tempeh recipes is in Healthy Slow Cooking, and Cheryl's even trying to make my brain go too many places. Cheryl got things and a phone call. See, now you really are at our house for dinner. Kind of annoying, isn't it? So I'm going to go ahead and put some slices of these cheesies. And a recipe that I don't have up that I love a lot is, let's see, ooh, that way.
I can't plug them in.
Why can't you plug them in?
I need an extension cord.
Oh,
They're too short.
so I'm going to put like 3 little pieces of cheese on here. And then I'll see if I can.
So I'll
You
just
see
set
from
them
the
back
corner,
there.
I'm just opening the sandwich press and I'm putting it in. This is pretty wet bread. And let me show you, Cheryl's trying to brag on, she just got these today. Do you guys remember Bumble?
Bumble's my favorite.
Bumble is awesome. And in fact, Fergus's nickname is Bumble. And so we can appreciate that a lot. And that's because he's a crazy cat.
He is crazy.
And he just will fling himself through the air like a flying squirrel or something like that. Okay, so this sandwich will be ready. I'll leave this here because just for a conversation piece. Because you want to see some vegan cheese out the side on a cozy chat. Okay, so, and what this does, and you guys can kind of see, so it's already kind of making these little panini marks, but I find there's something magical about a panini. So if you're looking for something to get yourself, I think Kohl's and Macy's and JCPenney's are all going to have, whatever they had cheap ones of these. This is not a super fancy one by any means. We don't have sandwiches often because we are still trying to lose weight, even though it's the holidays. So we're having a sandwich today. But we haven't really had bread this week.
I haven't had any bread.
We haven't had any bread this week. So usually when we're being really on track.
I had that burrito though.
Well, it'll all work out in the end. Okay. That's how I feel about December. It'll all work out in the end. Why do you have them both behind my head?
I can't plug either one of them in, so.
Let's put Bumble over here.
I got to get little extension cords for him.
There you go. I'll move it a little bit in.
They're still super silly.
They are silly. And
we got a Mickey Mouse too that we got a while ago.
Okay, so let's see. So my favorite tempeh recipe, Cheryl's going to be thrilled. I like to crumble it up. You could steam it it depends on if it's light life, I would steam it and then proceed on with your life. I like to saute Brussels sprouts, maybe some shredded cabbage, some shredded carrots, cabbage, especially red cabbage is pretty. And then I mixed in some liquid smoke into the tempeh. I put a little more liquid smoke in the whole mix, add it all in a big pan, and then I put a little maple syrup or date syrup in there. You could also probably put some applesauce if you didn't want to use any other sweetener to give a little sweetness. And it's delightful. It got her to like Brussels sprouts too.
I really like it a lot.
Another thing is just like crumble it up with some potatoes. And again, various vegetables and just kind of make a little hash with it. That's another really easy thing to do. Plantbasedinstantpot.com. I have a hash recipe too, I think. I think it's in there. It could be on plantbasedinstantpot.com or healthyslowcooking.com. It melts pretty good. The cashew one seems to usually melt better than the cashew. The cashew one melts better than the chickpea. I think it's because chickpeas just kind of go. But I'll show you. I think it's still pretty worth it. If that makes. Oh, thanks, Apple. Apple just put the list of all the cheese making supplies. So I've done a couple of cheese classes in Kathy's Cooking Club. And you can find that stuff there. And Vika says, movie to watch, Leave the World Behind. I've been hearing everything about that, but we haven't watched it yet. Is this meal McDougall compliant? Pretty much. So it's it's Aldi knockoff Ezekiel bread. There's no oil in the bread. There's no oil in the cheese because I just made it. It's chickpeas. I don't think that they would say a whole lot. For this whole thing, there's a couple of tablespoons of carrageenan and a couple of tablespoons of tapioca starch. Other than that, it's chickpeas, water, and spices. And there's nothing that says you can't have tapioca starch. There's no coconut oil. There's not even any nuts in there.
Yeah.
Okay, and in the soup, this one in particular has a little bit of sugar because I made 2 versions of the instant tomato soup in the mason jar soup class. This is the traditional Campbell's version. We're hoping. Cheryl's going to tell me.
We'll see. I'm skeptical.
I think it's going to be pretty good.
But it's got to be good because you're using Yoda. Oh, that's pretty good.
I didn't have a really good spatula left because I was cooking something else. And so the cheese is compliant, the bread is compliant, the soup has some soy milk powder, but the other version, so it has some sugar and some soy milk powder, which is not McDougall compliant.
It would not be
every day.
Yeah, but it also wouldn't be like if you were trying to release weight, you wouldn't want to have that.
You could because
I guess it's a powder, so you're reconstituting it. So
yeah, because usually you don't want to do dry stuff, but since we're reconstituting, it's kind of okay. What I would say, I just want to make sure. Ooh, can you guys see that?
Careful, don't burn yourself.
Yeah, I probably will. Look at that. Oh, actually, you can see it kind of being melty.
Slap that puppy on a plate.
See, there's the melty cheese. And I'm just gonna.
It looks extremely hot.
It is extremely hot. It just came out of the very hot sandwich press.
I forgot we even had one of those.
I know you. Come on. I clicked you. So see, and as soon as it hits the cold air, it kind of reconstitutes again, but I want you to see. So it's melty. It's not going to string up a lot, but it's cold in here too. So you tell me if you think that is, if that's melty enough. And I think I'm going to cut it this way this time.
Yeah, and I don't think that this even pushes the edge of McDougall. This is like full on okay McDougall.
Well, and here's the thing. So I did 2 kinds of tomato soup. And I have a tiny ladle. I'm going to do 700 little ladles in here. So I apologize for that. I did add half water and half almond milk. This one does have soy milk powder in it, which does make it a little bit richer.
And that's my fault because otherwise I want Campbell's.
Oh, here you go. Here, you can put that on your little plate. You can do the whole thing. I'll even get you a napkin.
I gotta get closer.
Okay. So, and by napkin, I mean half a paper towel, in case anybody was interested. What fancy things you get when you come to Kathy's house. And I'll go ahead and dish out my soup. The other version of the instant tomato soup, I used oats instead of soy milk powder, and I used date sugar instead of vegan sugar. So I figured that would get more into the SOS and even into the Sophos Free. I know sometimes there's some question about if rolled oats can be in there or not, so your mileage may vary. I'm not trying to get you to eat anything you don't want to eat. But this is a compliant meal. It wouldn't be something you'd want to eat every day if you're trying to lose weight because of the dry starch of the bread. I changed some of the flavors in the cheese. Is it a little American-y? I was going for American cheese.
The cheese is exceptionally good today.
Yeah. In the last sandwich class we did, I did a plain cheese, which means it wasn't very flavored. So I added paprika, turmeric, onion powder, garlic powder, a little bit of mustard powder to kind of give it the illusion of cheddar that American cheese has.
It's really good.
The cheese.
Mm-hmm.
And if you wanted to eat some of this cheese, and let's say you are SOFAS free, so you're not going to eat any crackers, right? You could have some lettuce leaves or something like that. And I guess that would be leaves and not leaves, just in case anybody's counting. And the soup looks perfect. Let you guys see.
It is so close. It is so close.
So I'm trying to get Cheryl off of her Campbell's soup extravaganza.
The only thing is it tastes a little bit more like
Homemade.
no, like it doesn't really have milk in it. Like it doesn't have anything creamy in it. It tastes more like Campbell's does when it's made with more water than.
Really? And I just sat down and I got to get my spoon. Cheryl likes to have a teaspoon for her soup.
I think that's just because
I got to get all the way to the back.
Ouch!
I got to get all the way to the
Stop.
back.
Okay, go.
I, however, need a soup spoon. That is.
I think it's just because it's actually like more tomato-y than tomato soup.
Well, and we
is.
could change some of this.
No, I
around
think
here.
it's good the way it is.
I think it's really delightful. It reminds me of the Campbell soup that I grew up with.
I don't think you could get much closer than this, actually.
Okay, my sandwich is almost ready.
I'm gonna say it. It's actually better because it tastes more tomato-y with this stuff in it.
That's all I have in.
Because when I put soy milk in it, it kind of takes away some of that tomato-y flavor.
Is that a Max?
I don't know what he's doing. What are you doing?
I feel like I should have said, instead of a cozy
here.
holiday chat, a chaotic dinner chat is what we're having. But thank you very much. Let me turn this off
Okay,
and unplug it.
you need to stay right here because brother's in his bed.
Okay.
Do you need another cookie?
Can you hear Max? Max is like working it. I'm trying to get this somewhat out of. Oh, I unplugged it like I already got my sandwich out, which I hadn't, but I will now.
About this. Okay. I gotta do it. I gotta break it down. I need a knife out of there now.
You need a what?
A knife.
Well, what for what? Oh, okay, that kind of knife.
Yo.
This is not the best place to sit.
This
is
is
where
what's
all the
like-
silverware is.
This is what's like at our house at dinner.
It's exciting.
Or anytime something special's going on that we need everybody to chill out from.
And I will.
All right, Skippy, go
So
get your
it's-
Skippy.
It's a little bit gooey. I'll show you. And then I'll get back to questions, I promise. See, you can see how it's kind of gooey and ooey. So it is melting. I wouldn't say it's as melty as some of the really good vegan melty cheeses, but this costs not that much. So it does cost a lot to get carrageenan and it doesn't cost a lot, but I mean, it seems expensive, the carrageenan and the lactic acid. But I've bought them twice in the past 10 years. So I buy some and I use it for years. So that's how that goes. Okay, I'm gonna move this up so I don't lose the crispy on that side. And I get to have my 6-year-old snow day Kathy dinner. All right, so let's get back to here.
Let's try this.
Do.
Max's special treat.
Yeah, peanut butter. We've talked about this with Stacy before. We do keep peanut butter in the house, and we don't have a problem with it because we double dip and spread it on Max's toys. That will keep you out of the peanut butter, or it does me anyhow. Yeah, Mona got
There you go.
her stuff on Amazon, and that's where I say, and then Apple gave a list where everything is there. the carrageenan, the lactic acid, all of that. And here's the thing, like, once this is really getting cold, like, it's getting cooler now. If I had left it outside for about an hour or frozen it, you can shred it. So sometimes at the end I'll put shreds out and we'll put those in burritos or put them on some things. And it's just, for me, it's a nice nostalgia. This is like definitely the ultimate nostalgia dinner. And tomato powder you can buy on Amazon. I think I got the pure, which was like 3 pounds of tomato powder for $25, and I probably still have 2 pounds after using it in a couple of recipes. So it lasts a long.
Ooh, it's hot.
Oh, Always Learning says if I put that outside, all the bears would feast. I wouldn't think about that, but I guess that's true.
We just have to worry about this one crazy squirrel. The raccoons and the possums don't seem to come up on the deck. They we have a gate at the top of the stairs of the deck on the second story, so they don't usually go past that gate.
Okay, Ellen says Leave the World Behind is disturbing and it's an eye-opener and thought-provoking movie. I may be waiting till 2024 to watch it then. I only want happy, mindless Christmas things. Or it doesn't even have to be Christmas. It's just Christmas movies fit into that, because Pottersville isn't exactly a Christmas movie. Christmas with the Campbells is. There's some other really funny ones that I've watched, and I don't watch them because I love Christmas movies. I watch them because I just want happy, mindless entertainment for just a wee bit of time. So, Kimmy says, I missed the name of the Christmas movie we were talking about. Okay, the one that has harsh language and the parents kind of say some naughty things is Christmas with the Campbells. It's a satire, and I think it's hilarious, but if your sense of humor doesn't skew R-rated, it might not be for you, and there is cursing. The other one is Pottersville.
What do they call them? Mildly suggestive adult humor, I think is how it was. I didn't think it was.
You don't see anything.
You don't see anything.
You don't see anything at all. Like, kids could be in the room and it wouldn't, it would go over their head. But
it's mostly in the language used.
Oh, Apple's going to watch Pottersville. Apple, you've watched Pottersville before, haven't you?
Yeah. She said yes.
Yeah, I thought you. And I was thinking too, because it's pretty hilarious. Oh, Angela's here. Welcome. Oh, and Kimmy loves Pottersville. Yeah, it's super fun. Hey, Brazen Spirituality.
I'm surprised that you haven't done the whole Princess Switch thing.
Oh, but it's about time. The Princess Switch trilogy.
Yeah.
You need to see it.
Yeah, I don't like those kind of movies, and I totally got sucked into
Number
those.
1, don't stop. The rest are better.
You're like, number 1, you're just kind of like, okay, yeah, whatever.
Oh, Brazen Spirituality came in to wish us and our fans a happy holiday. Thank you so much. And like I always say, there's 80 bazillion holidays. Let's celebrate as many as we can. I think that's awesome. Oh, so does the other movie, is the big girl movie, do animals die? Because, yeah, I'm out on that, too. Yeah, tomato soup and grilled cheese is just like the perfect winter meal. Like, I grew up in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, so it's a little bit colder than it is in Durham, North Carolina, but not much. And back in the day, it'd snow a few times a year. I don't know if that happens anymore or not.
We haven't had snow in a while.
Well, in Winston, they get snow more. But I would be like fluffed out, ready to play in the snow, and then I'd come in and it'd be tomato soup and grilled cheese sandwiches. How about you guys, like Apple and Gina and people in not in France. I translated Montreal to France in my head. This is why I don't always go live this late.
Geography is not your strong suit either.
No, but I know France isn't above us, or we would have gone. We would have been to France by now. I've been to Canada. I need to go to Canada more. But
I'm on board for that.
But I was thinking, Apple, you were talking about some traditional Canadian flavors and like split pea soup. So what would be kind of is there a Canadian equivalent or is it the same? Aha, somebody sell me a clue. I'll sell you a clue for free. It is my homemade oil-free cheese. And there is this one I used chickpeas for the base, and I need to write up the recipe. I need to write up a lot of recipes. I know, but I can't. There's only one of me, and I'm making the classes and planning the things. But
and I can't write up the recipes.
Hopefully, I'm going to get
they're
some
all right
recipes
here.
up. Or they're in my notes strewn all around the house, which is really not helpful. I do have someone helping me work into a system called ClickUp so I can get all my pieces of paper into one digital format. So, so it's my cheese. And if you go here on YouTube, you will see one of my cheese recipes, and I'm pretty sure you can email me and ask me because I don't remember. That was years ago. It's probably a very similar recipe. I know Bumble is awesome, and we actually call Fergus Bumble. Betsy says, Cheryl, you crack her up. Oh, Christmas with the Campbells is also on YouTube. Okay, but don't say I didn't warn you. Don't watch it if you're very sensitive to adult humor. I am not whatsoever. So do not gauge if you can watch it or not on my love for this movie. Because I like it because it's shocking. And they say things. And the first time I watched it, I made Cheryl come in the room because I'm like, I think I may be finally losing it. And I'm hearing things in movies that just aren't there.
She kept stopping it. And she stopped it, and because I wouldn't watch those with her because I don't like the Hallmark Christmas things all that much, but I'm learning to like them more. But you'd see her play it, and then she'd stop it and roll it back. And then she hollered for me, and she said, I need you to come listen to this. And so she hit play, and then she was like, did they say what I thought they said? And I was like, yes, they did.
No blow-ups. So we have no blow-ups in our yard. I know it's hard to believe. Max, what is going on over there? You eat.
We don't have
Here.
Christmas blow-ups, but I do have a giant blow-up
What's going on over here?
castle front with flames
it
that
off,
come
little
out the top
buddy.
for Halloween, but we haven't used it in a while. Max is being so bad, y'all. He is just trying to milk it. He already got lots of snacks today because he was being all pitiful with his foot.
Do you want to go all the way down?
So now Candy's having to go take him downstairs to go to the bathroom. Now he wants to go to the bathroom. I just don't know. He's crazy.
Can we go
He's
the other
crazy.
way?
And then
Come on.
Bumble
Come on.
is over here.
Come on.
Fergus. He's over here in his little
Come on, let's
bed.
go back
He's
in.
got a little bed on the
Max.
floor over here. And Matt keeps watch on the entry to the kitchen so that Max can't come in the kitchen from this direction. He can only come in from this direction. Talk again? I think it's still on.
Is it?
I think it's still on.
It says off.
Does it? Oh, maybe I'm picking you up. I don't know. Okay. You gonna take him? Okay.
I didn't want to go because
I-
like to stay.
I can take him if you want. Okay. It's an emergency bathroom situation for the dog. Because his leg is hurt. We don't want him to go down. We have steep steps that go down 2 stories. So we don't want him to go down those with his foot because he's all limpy. You know I'm not good at just sitting here talking by myself. So I'm going to look at some of the comments. Okay, we were talking about blow-ups, and I did say that we don't have any Christmas blow-ups, but I think I might be mistaken because I think we might have a penguin Christmas blow-up that we haven't used in years that's in one of the sheds that we've never really brought it back out since we moved to this house. I got really into decorating when we lived in the old house downtown. I got really, really into decorating for Christmas, and I got some of those deer, the light up kind of deer, and I was all excited about them. I had my little deer out front and everything, and I put lights on the bushes and everything, and then we lived by a red light, and then one night somebody came and stole my little deer out of the front yard. And since then, I've had no desire to even like put anything in the yard again, because that just ruined my whole Christmas with that little deer getting stolen, didn't it?
It did. It
And
really
then our
did.
friends
Brought us
our friends got one at a thrift store or something, and they came and set it up in the middle of the night one night. So I got up and walked outside, and there was this deer that was 3 times the one size of the one that I had, and it was just kind of hilarious.
It was kind of awesome. This soup is way better than I thought it was going to be.
It is. It's really good.
I recommend it 10 out of 10. My instant tomato soup, which is of course not on the web because I just made it up last weekend in class.
And I probably made like 20 people leave, because with me sitting here by myself, it was very boring.
It was not boring. You were telling your story.
Well, but I'm boring.
Have more faith in yourself.
I'm boring.
We don't talk like that on lives.
Okay.
We don't talk like that at all, hopefully. But yeah, we love to go and look at lights, and we looked at the Tanglewood lights. I'll see if I can get some pictures to here. I was going to go live, but there was zero phone service at all, so I couldn't do anything. And we had guests with us in the back seat, so I didn't want to just film it and alienate anybody. Ellen says, do you have to boil or do anything to tempeh prior to using it? The real answer is no. You do have to cook it before you eat it, but you don't have to boil it or steam it. Why do I keep telling you to steam it? If you're not a lover of bitter flavors, or you've been having trouble with the flavor of tempeh, if you steam it, it will take away some of that bitterness and make it milder. So when you don't need to do that is if you have a local homemade tempeh maker. So like Smiling Hara in Asheville. I don't need to do that. We have a new tempeh girl who used to be here, and I miss her because it was the best tempeh I've ever had. I never steamed her tempeh either. Kathy says, my husband had almost the same thing for lunch, toasted some bread, added some Miyoko's mozzarella, baked tofu, spinach, and tomato, had with tomato soup. Called it a BLT without most things. You could do, another great thing to do with tempeh is to slice it really thin, kind of like we did for this cheese, maybe even thinner if you can. And then I'll put it together in one of these containers, or a square one, so it's kind of held together. So I slice it really thin, I pick it up and put it in there. And I'll make something with like some maple syrup. You could use date syrup, some smoked paprika, a little bit of soy sauce if you're okay with salt. You could use some mushroom broth if you're not, and kind of make those hickory, smoky, sweet flavors. And you can then, after it's marinated, you want to use a container like this that has like a leak-proof lid, and then I can flip it over, and that'll get the marinade in more. And then I'll pull out some of those and pan fry or air fry for super crispy bacon. Oh, thank you, Michael Jackson, for the super sticker. Betsy, here's the thing. Oh, here's the thing. So Betsy says, you said if you can eat carrageenan, what would be a reason not to eat food-grade carrageenan? I have no answer to that, but some people seem to. People had a real issue with it being in some of the soy milk, so some people feel very strongly about not ingesting it. But what, in the stuff I saw, it was comparing non-food grade carrageenan, and it is bad for your digestion system and all kinds of things like that because you're not supposed to ingest it. However, with the amounts, it usually doesn't bother anyone. If you have some sort of gastrointestinal sort of issues and you notice it gives you a problem, just make it a sauce instead of making it a block of cheese. But I can cut this off and slice an apple and have cheese and apples, which we haven't done in a long time. I thought that would be a nice holiday treat, all compliant. Aw, thank you so much. Anya from the UK. I'm hoping next year might be the year we get to go to the UK. We want to go really, really bad. Oh, hey, Doc Mom, what a cute puppy. You're sweet, and obviously that little muffin's the sweetest. Hey, Plants Only Muncher. We are glad that you are here. Where are my veggies? A tomato.
Chickpeas.
That's not really, it's a starch more than a
Is it?
vegetable. We could have, so if I was left to my own devices, I probably would have made a pesto and put some artichokes and some different funky stuff on the sandwich. Cheryl really likes a pure, just plain old
6-year-old
sandwich.
meal.
But if you had leftover vegetables, I would pile those on in the grilled sandwich. I have made sandwiches. I've made, what did I did white sweet potato turkey, and I did red sweet potato pastrami. I've done corned beets, really, and sliced them thin for sandwiches, and that would be good with this cheese too, and that would add some veggies in.
This is probably the best one you've made yet.
Well, of course it is, because I didn't write down any of the things that I put in it. But I could probably guess and do it again.
Oh, that's really good.
Thank you.
This soup's really good too.
You might get some of mine.
Thank you for making it the way that I like it and not adding in additional spices that make it not tomato soup.
You're welcome. That's how you have yours. And then I have another one, the one that I did with the oats and the date sugar. I added basil too. And it tastes like La Madeleine's. Only vegan. Yeah, a panini press is just really nice because then it kind of takes, like Ezekiel bread can be a little bit smushy or too dry. And this, it's all toasted perfectly. See if I can chew and talk at the same time. Oh, I'm glad you think it looks good, Kelly. And Brazen Spirituality says, does anyone who eats dairy normally try this recipe to compare? Cheryl did before she went vegan. In fact, and it was this bean recipe. Because this was in one of the books. I forget which book it was in. And she was eating, I think you were eating cheddar cheese. Cheddar cheese chunks. And I made some of this for me. And I put some chunks and I put it on her plate. And she ate them all. She ate mine and she ate hers.
You could tell the difference. The texture was slightly different. The flavor was slightly different. However, both of them together, it was just as yummy on a cracker as the cheddar that I was eating. So
yeah, and so that was before she was eating vegan cheese all the time. And there's no exactly one-to-one, but it's also, most vegan cheeses that you buy at the store are not compliant because they all have oil in them. They
Lots
all have
of oil in them.
Yeah, mostly coconut oil or coconut, and those are things that aren't, coconut is not compliant at all. Apple says she's going to go to her kitchen and make some Kulkin and yum, cabbage and potato.
But I think this, I like this way more than I do the store-bought vegan cheeses. The store-bought vegan cheeses always are too, I guess it's the oil in them. It makes it too, I don't know, the only thing I can think of is a buttery taste or something. It's like, if you've ever had a vegan pizza and they put too much on it, it has that too much of something taste. So I haven't always really liked vegan cheese. In fact, early on when we started doing McDougall, I was adamant that I would never eat pizza because I would not do vegan cheese on a pizza because it felt wrong.
Well, and you've done
But
it both ways.
I've had pizza now without any cheese when we were in
And
Connecticut.
that was really good. It was
Delicious.
good pizza,
It was the
honestly.
best pizza. And it's at this little place that's next to the shop where Hydron has some consignment stuff. And then I have had a pizza with vegan cheese on it. And I still think that they put too much vegan cheese sometimes. And it's like, even if you tell them not to put a lot, they still put too much, I think. But this
is light.
it's a light,
oily
yeah.
or heavy or
I think
anything
it's
like
because
that.
it doesn't have that oil in there to make your mouth pucker, kind of like.
But you get some of the flavors. It's milder.
You get some of the flavor, and you also get some of the texture. The texture is like really like.
As the
I mean, you
sandwich
see, I can't
cools-
push holes in this at all. This is like a block of cheese would be. I can't
it's
stick my
finally
hand
cooled
through
down
it.
all the way.
I can't poke my hand through it. I can leave little dents like I would in cheese, but I'm not.
And not even so much in that, but I think it's kind of nice, and I was thinking it would be nice to make kind of a,
Can we shred that too?
yes, I talked about that just a
Oh,
little
I didn't
while
pay
ago.
attention. I was probably too busy eating.
Trish says, love you both so much. Thank you for giving us the opportunity to be part of your journey. Thanks for joining us.
Yes.
Classic looks delish. Yeah. And sometimes it's nice. Like, I know some people feel like, well, you just get used to all the other things and you never have any cravings. And it's not that I was having a craving for this, but I was nostalgic for it.
I was craving it.
Okay, she was craving it. There are other things I've been craving.
But you have to remember though, I used to eat tomato soup, Campbell's tomato soup, probably at least once a week before we did McDougall's. So maybe sometimes twice a week, because this is my go-to comfort food. This was with noodles. This is my go-to comfort food.
Oh, Davika, thank you. That's so sweet. Says that I'm the encyclopedia of spices.
You kind of are.
Well, I like to learn. So whenever there's something I don't know, I have to get it. And that's why I get a little overspiced. I have a bunch of strange Scandinavian spice blends. And actually,
Where did you get those?
I got those at Lidl.
Your tag's sticking out the back of your shirt.
Is it?
Yeah, you
Okay,
want me
I'll
to
try and
fix it?
fix that.
I'll fix it.
But I was thinking, actually, this is what I think made me want to make cheese real quick.
There you
They have a fondue seasoning mix.
go. Where did you get these at?
Lidl.
Fried potato?
Yeah, here, wait. First, no. First taste this one, the cheese one.
And what is this one?
For fondue, and I don't know how you say it, but it's when they melt the cheese in that special thing. I'm like, that would be really good in a fondue. It's a little spicy. Hopefully it's not too spicy for her.
I can't even taste anything on that.
Do you want to try again? Because I got all the spicy.
It looks spicy.
And so, like, it's Alpenfest style. And so another one is a sandwich blend that I haven't opened up yet for like open face sandwiches. And
That's got a bite to it, yeah.
I found some compliant, like, rye bread. And this is fried potato seasoning blend. These are not SOS. Most of them do have, well, let's see. Yeah, salt's the first ingredient.
Salt and sugar in
Salt.
those.
This one, the fondue, does not have any salt or oil or sugar. So that's a winner at the Lidl. These other two have salt, but I was thinking this would be fun on some home fries. And we can feel like we're vacationing from home. It's neat, isn't it? It's got, just so you guys know, red paprika, smoked paprika, onion, coriander, garlic, sugar, definitely not SOS friendly, black pepper, marjoram, parsley, cayenne, paprika. It's kind of, I think it's delightful. Can't you imagine it on your potatoes?
I think I'm not my buds aren't working. Oh, that's got a seed of something.
That's a coriander. You can put it in your mouth. It's okay. But someone in a group that I'm in just was actually in a food blogger group said, oh, I just checked out a book and I really liked it. And then I realized it was your book. It was Vegan Slow Cooking for Two. And I was like, oh, the book where I discovered black cardamom. And that's how I remembered things, because I was like, oh, why did no one tell me they smoked cardamom?
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah. So, like, whenever I see these little jars of things, and then what I'll do, and like, let's say for this potato one, because I'm going to be working next year on that potions and powders book, I will make a potato seasoning blend that is SOS, right? Or at least there's options to make it that way. And that's why I end up with all the spice blends. Yeah, cheese and apple slices.
That sounds
It
good.
is. Her saying it's like camels is huge ones. Yep, it's a winner. I am enjoying. We are funny. We're just funny for good or the bad of things. What?
That's
This makes
so
me
stupid.
Crazy. It makes me so crazy.
That makes
How
no
much
sense.
more things are in Canada than here.
It makes no sense.
So lactic acid is only $15, and like it's a big bag, and I'll use it usually for 2 years or longer. And that's not, I don't make cheese every week or anything. I make it sporadically, but I use lactic acid in all kinds of things that I want to be cheesy and like quesos and things like that. But $57, I just don't understand that. Hey, Ms. Irises, it's awesome to have you. I'm glad you're having dinner with us. Oh, Apple, that just makes me so sad. And we are just nowhere near the border, or I would be like trekking over backpacks of lactic acid and neomats and things like that. The cheese tastes kind of like a cheese sauce would. You taste just a little bit of nutritional yeast. I think I put 2 tablespoons in for the whole thing, so it's not a lot of nutritional yeast.
I can't even explain it.
Um,
It's like,
you definitely get a little onion garlic going on. The lactic acid gives it a little bit of tang.
and you can taste the paprika a little bit.
The smoky, I want it to have
The
just
smokiness.
a tad of smoke. I put in a little mustard, which I don't always, which can also give a little bit of sharpness, like cheddar. But you know how when you taste some vegan cheeses, you taste the oil and the salt. I did put some salt in because we're not salt-free, but it's not overly salty either. What are you looking at?
Oh, I couldn't tell what he was doing. He was looking like he was getting
He's getting his
into
rub.
mischief.
Wish you guys could see, because he literally has this round,
He has 3.
fuzzy, like mohair. It's not really mohair, but you know how those beds that are real long fur and it looks like fake fur. That's the word. He's in his fake fur bed. Just
He has
so
3
sad.
beds in there. He has 3 beds in that room. One outside on the deck. That's better furniture than ours is. And he's got that one that's in front of the fireplace. With the fireplace going. He's spoiled.
Yeah.
He's so spoiled.
Mona says she likes the faux Ezekiel bread from Aldi's. But
Yeah.
I
like it
that
better.
it's like half the price.
Yeah, it's got lots of seeds though.
I think I got the seed one because I like all the seeds.
I like it. It's good.
And plus, since we don't usually eat seeds, it's kind of like, again, very
Yeah.
treaty. And when we're only eating bread like twice a month, I don't feel bad about it. Kitty Mama says, not food related, but have you watched Meet the Queens for season 16 yet? I don't think
No,
we have. We're watching
no.
the Canadian drag race.
Yeah. Which is very entertaining now that they have the Golden Beaver Award. That makes it very drama filled. So the winner
So for those of you who have no idea what we're talking about, RuPaul, who's
An American drag queen.
from way back,
Way back.
he kind of has an empire, and they do these reality drag race competitions, and they're super fun, and they bring a lot of joy.
They're like comedy beauty pageants, kind of. And they have to do these talenty skit kind of things, and it's very fun.
Yeah, Max is one lucky puppy. Apple says, I used to make fermented oat Ezekiel bread. It's really easy, but takes a few days. Do you have that recipe, and could you give it to me to just make myself? I won't share it with anybody, but I'd love to try it. John says, I met you both a few years ago at Hilton Head. Yeah, I remember that conference. Mm-hmm. I didn't know you were famous then. I don't think I'm famous now, but thank you for the thought. I always say, some people in a very small circle know me.
Well, more and more when we go places, like, people will recognize her. Like, we were at the Ren Fair this year.
That was random.
And somebody recognized her at the Ren Fair.
Are you the vegan lady? I'm like,
are you from Durham?
Lady? Yeah, and then she was like, okay, yep, you do know me. And said that they remembered really, really enjoying sitting at the table having lunch with us.
Aw.
It pretty much was just like this,
and
only
we were
less animal drama.
Less animal drama, and we were probably still bickering back and forth about something that I was eating or something that she wanted me to try that I didn't want to eat.
That's how life goes here.
That was where we first met Dr. Milton Mills as well. So I wonder if you were at the table with us that day.
Because he was delightful. Mm-hmm. He also, much like Chef AJ, is like, I don't want to make your spices. I want to buy them from you. And I'm like, okay, let's see. Apple says, I watched Last Christmas last night. The whole soundtrack is George Michael songs. No. You have made Cheryl the happiest girl ever.
Oh, is it super sappy though? I don't know if I could handle the super sappy, but...
Yes, you can.
Did we watch that? I feel like we watched something recently that had... Well, you can't go by that because every movie has Last Christmas in it at some point.
Okay, Last Christmas, and we'll look for it.
Yeah.
Liz says, hi, all tuning in late. Your supper looks delicious. Thank you. It is. Oh, watch the replay. Christmas at the... Baltimore.
Oh,
was a lovely movie. Christmas at the Baltimore.
Or was it supposed to be Biltmore?
We're only thinking Biltmore, I think, because we live near the Biltmore.
Yeah, that's true.
That doesn't mean it's a movie, but that's a good guess.
Well, I know that they were filming a movie there earlier this year. Yeah.
Yep, and Ashley says, I feel like a grilled cheese is mandatory with tomato soup. And I was just thinking about what are some compliant things that we can have around the house. And so I may even do a compliant dessert or a holiday thing. There is actually an apple spice cake that I make in the Instant Pot. And I've made a carrot cake that has no oil, date sweetened with, it did have cashew date icing, but we could probably do something else with that too.
Oh, I want some of that.
Which one?
The carrot cake.
Okay, so maybe we'll do something with that.
I want brownies.
Huh? I know you want brownies. I know you want brownies, and we could talk about that. We can make some brownies. So obviously I'm behind on all the things. So I know you guys are asking, and today I went, because I'm not caught up on answering my emails, but I caught up on deleting the ones I don't need to think about. And then I got 400 emails today. 400 emails. I'm like, I'm never going to get... So if you guys have emailed me and I haven't emailed you back, please just email me again. Put a snowman emoji on there or something and catch my attention. I'm also trying to get things ready for a bundle sale next year, and I'm working on a special thing for after Christmas and maybe even a special thing for January. So where it seems like I am just living my best life, relaxing and sleeping a lot,
She is not.
I am not.
She has been working, and she always does this, because we all know, workaholic. This is what a workaholic looks like. She starts working from the minute she wakes up. And I mean the minute she wakes up, because the iPad comes out and she starts looking at stuff while she's still in bed. Then that iPad goes with her still rambling on stuff on the iPad. You hear people talking, blah, 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 blah. And it goes into the bathroom. And then you hear the muffled blah, 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 blah behind the bathroom door. And then she has it while she's brushing her teeth. The iPad then goes upstairs. And then the iPad gets set down. And then the computer comes open. And then she'll go make herself some coffee or tea or whatever the flavor of the day is. And then
It's
she
like my
sits
t-shirt.
down.
It's all picked out by mood.
It is.
And today, okay, so coffee is not Dr. McDougall. Not interested. So I'm going to talk about coffee. It is not compliant. So have the feels you need to have, but don't drink coffee because I'm telling you about this. I make an iced coffee, and literally I probably put half a cup of kind of not strongly brewed iced coffee, and I use a little bit. I did some almond milk. I frothed it up, and it's just this very special thing for me. And the flavors I'll do. So I did a little bit of vanilla syrup and some homemade rosemary. No, white chocolate and rosemary together, and it was miraculous.
See, I don't drink all that woo-woo kind of fancy stuff.
Yes, you do. You love butter pecan.
I do like the butter pecan.
So anyhow, and yeah, coffee syrups, drinking your calories, not McDougall. But I don't have a very big one, and at some point,
Water is your friend.
yeah, at some point I'll have to cut it out. But I'll also do tea and some frothed milk. Okay, you can finish telling about how.
So she just she works from she very rarely takes a break. She very rarely she'll take a break to go maybe have a quick walk or something to get some movement in, but for the most part, if she's sitting, the computer is open and there's work happening. So the only way that I can sometimes get her to stop working is to physically drag her out of the house and make her go somewhere. Like make her go ride with me somewhere to pick something up or go somewhere to see Christmas lights.
I know, but I do 50,000 things, but I just keep waiting for the day that I'm going to be caught up.
And then that's like what a lot of times you'll hear us talk about. We did a bunch of chores, we did a bunch of store shopping and stuff because it's the only way I can keep her out of the house. It's the only way I can get her to go do stuff.
To take a break, yeah.
To take a break is to actually go take care of whatever chores we need to take care of.
So Marie says, what are we eating? Homemade tomato soup and vegan cheese grilled sandwiches. No oil. Ta-da. And Rill said, so did you slice the sandwich into fingers and dip them in the soup? And I should have. But what I did do is I sliced the bread in half in the middle. So, from where the top is and the little M shape it kind of makes at the top, cut it down the middle into rectangles, which I usually think is a strong offense to sandwiches. But I think it's because I was wanting it into fingers. Because Cheryl will be like, do you want your sandwich cut? And I'm like, yes. And she's like, how? And I'm like, diagonal. What kind of question is that?
After the panini press, though, you could have went right down those lines.
I could have. Really, you're making me have some regrets. But I am kind of eating it that way. I literally am eating some soup and I'm putting a little corner of my sandwich in it and then eating that. Come to Montreal. I would love to go to Montreal. I really would like that.
That would be a
very
fun
much.
trip.
Oh, Lynn says tomato soup and cheese sandwiches in the winter meal, and she's from Greensboro. Mary Ellen says come to Canada. I would love to do that.
Canada would be a fun trip.
Oh, and we were talking about that, Apple, in class, weren't we? Tomato soup with macaroni was a common winter meal in Canada.
Well, I'm from close to Canada, so.
I don't know what's in a butter tart. If someone sends me a recipe, I could see what I can do.
Butter tarts.
Is
it like a shortbread?
Well, it's a tart, so I'm assuming it's a filling. So I'm wondering if it's like chess pie down here.
Probably.
Could get
kind of butter pie.
interesting. Because like some of those things, you can take out the sugar or you can take out the oil, but you can't always take out both. Because then you don't have anything to set up. Mm-hmm. But we could see what that is. Oh, that would be so fun. Hey, Justine is popping in for a quick hello. Just got off a Zoom with her 3 sisters, and it's hubby time. Excellent. Yeah, sorry, we're just kind of randomly doing things how they fit in. I actually have a meeting in an hour, so I have to get on a Zoom at 8:30. Oh, Mona, you were a travel nurse. I don't think, or you did a travel nurse assessment. Does that make you a travel nurse or like someone who works with travel nurses?
Greensboro is pretty awesome. We like to go to Greensboro. That's kind of our getaway spot. It's just far enough down the road that you feel like you've gone somewhere.
It's about an hour drive, but it's mostly highway.
But you don't have to like spend the night. It's like
and there's some good Vietnamese restaurants and some different things there, so we can get some, our mostly compliant food when we're going out. And then it's just nice sometimes just to go somewhere different. Jess says, the cheese you made looks delicious. How long will it last? It depends on your fridge and things like that. It should last easily a week. It may last 10 days to 14 days. But
can we freeze part of it?
Yes. What I would do is I would shred it. So actually I would freeze it partly, then shred it, because if you make it with cashews, it's going to shred much more cleanly than if it's beans, because the beans are going to warm up a little bit more quickly. And then freeze the shreds would be what I was doing.
The beans are really great, though. It tastes really good.
Yeah, it doesn't taste like beans at all. Oh, okay. And Bailey says, I love satirical TV and movies. Yes. And so, yeah, no, I'm there too. And especially if I think I'm watching one thing and then I realize I'm watching something making fun of the thing I thought I was going to watch, is even better. And Apple says, I'm sharing my vegan savory spice pie. I'm not going to try and pronounce that word. But it's on the screen. It's for tortillere? I think it is. I think it's tortillere or something close.
Torche. Isn't that a sh sound? Torchie? I think it's torchie.
Torchie? I don't know. We are just like stabbing in the dark. And your newsletter, yes, I need to sign up. I thought I signed up for your newsletter, but if I didn't, and you would like to put me in your newsletter, please do. I would love that. Start reading the comments. We still love to see you, Cheryl. That's awesome. Oh, I would love that. Absolutely. Apple, please share the recipe here, and you can pop the link in the chat for the recipe PDF. If it gives you heck, then you can email it to me and I will put it in the comments later. But hopefully it worked. And always, Apple, you always have permission to do anything like that. Mona said she loved the deer story. Carrie said we loved hearing what you had to say, Cheryl. Linda said something.
I know.
And Real says, if you keep eating this soup, you'll forget what Campbell's taste like.
It's possible.
Yes, indeed. And Penny says, you're never boring, mostly funny, and always educational. That's kind of how I feel. Only I put more emphasis on the mostly funny. Sorry, married people humor. All I can say, Cheryl, is that your version of boring is the speed of most of us here. We find you delightful, which is awesome.
Thank you, everyone. I appreciate that.
And Mary Ellen says, we love you. Lydia says, you're not boring. I loved your deer story.
I always just feel like when she leaves me sitting here, I just always feel like, oh, what am I going to do?
Just gotta so the trick is, if you feel like you don't have anything to say, you just read a comment.
Well, after I blabbed around for a minute, I decided I would start reading comments, and then I remembered the deer story when somebody asked about the blow-ups.
Okay, you can do either one. Ramel, you did not miss the cheese recipe. And we didn't really talk about it. But there is a cheese recipe on YouTube. If somebody wants to put it in, great. If not, I will put it in later. But if you search under my Kathy Hester YouTube for cheese, it and my pub cheese recipe, which does have cashews.
But the pub cheese is really
The pub
good.
cheese is really delicious and amazing, and full of cashews.
It is very fatty though.
Kelly says, "Far from boring. You both are so much fun." Yes, Cheryl.
I love
does
a
like
6-year-old
meal.
meals. I love
Absolutely.
a 6-year-old meal. Give me some mac and cheese and fake chicken nuggets, and I'm happy as can be.
Hey, Wendy, great to see you from New Mexico. It is homemade cheese. And people are talking about, and this is something you guys can draw your own opinions. Difference between carrageenan and agar-agar, they're both seaweeds. And you want to eat the food grade version of both. There's huge arguments about it, and I use it, you don't have to. And I feel like some things may have gotten conflated. Some of the studies that I saw were being done on non-food grade carrageenan. So there you go. But you can make your cheese however you want. I have not used agar-agar in it, but I would assume you could. The texture is going to change slightly. It's going to be a little more jello-ish and a little less like this. We made tofu crumble and veggie pizza on a plant-strong crust for dinner. Yum. Pizza without cheese. It's all another crust for me, right? A crust is just delightful. And Carrie likes pizza with no cheese. And hey, Dee, it's good to see you here. Hope you're having a good time in Florida. Is it warm again? Oh, Betsy, I always try to answer your questions. So if I ever space out and don't answer your questions, it's because it's spaced out. Yeah, and I have a fondue recipe on healthyslowcooking.com. And then in a class on Kathy's Cooking Club, I improved that recipe. So I'm hoping to get that recipe. I have such a long list of recipes to try and get up. Oh, thanks, Jill, for telling people to come in and do the likies. Wow, a lot of you guys are hanging out with us. I'm getting down the comments.
I saw the Kraft Philadelphia plant-based cream cheese, remember? I showed that to you in the grocery store, and it had, it had oil in it. That was,
Didn't it have coconut oil?
I think it had coconut oil in it, yeah. Because then I got all excited, and then I saw that it had oil in it. And I kind of knew picking it up it was going to probably have oil in it, but yeah, I was a little disappointed because there's so many things that I used to really like that used cream cheese.
And we're going to be making in class next week Hydran's Okara cream cheese. So that'll be good.
I wonder if Kraft has a plant-based macaroni and cheese yet.
It won't be as... I got mac and cheese powder. What more do you
I
need?
know. Well, just,
And you can get that. I think that's on healthyslowcooking.com.
It's good. I like it a lot. I just don't ever remember we have it.
I'm excited about the potions and powders books, and I even have outfits to wear. But I've got to write out the whole list of everything. Most of the stuff is done, but it's going to be lots of oil-free sauces, spice blends, some of the dry mixes, all the things that I use a lot. And Cheryl says, do you know that a tiny pinch of baking soda slightly sweetens? No, I did not know that. Hello to Napa, California. Get over there. Okay. Yes, I made this in like almost no time at all. Actually, it was like, because it's cold in the house, it set up really fast. And it took probably 20 minutes, less than 20 minutes start to finish. So you put all the stuff in the blender, then you put it in a saucepan and you use a whisk, and you continuously whisk. It's going to look like it's curdling or doing something weird. Then it smooths out and gets shiny, and then you just put it in a mold. This was my mold where I will store it back again. And then if you can tell, so I put it in there, and then it wasn't even all the way cold. And I literally just put my hand in like that and put it over there. So it's really easy to work with. Oh, Cheryl says my Yorkshire Terrier has a bed in the back seat of my car. I love that. Kitty Mama says, yeah, I'm enjoying Drag Race Canada and the Golden Beaver. Oh, that's just silliness. You guys are silly. Often removes the need for sugar or other sweeteners. You certainly could try it in any of these recipes. And when even in class, because we made all these jars, everything wasn't a powder like this. There were a couple of powdered soups like this. But the whole point of making something like this yourself, because it used like tomato powder, there are two versions, one soy milk powder, tomato powder, a few other things, spices and whatnot, and then I did another one that had date.
She's not
sugar.
allowed to say what spices go in there because it's probably something I won't like.
There's not any real spices in there, but it has to taste like something. So I'm sure there's.
Show them the lid.
It says Cheryl's tomato soup. Let's see if I can see it from here. And then mine says delicious tomato soup.
It does.
No, it just has basil in it. It's like watermelon. Yeah, I love Dr. Mills too. Hey, Vegan Knowledge JJ. It's awesome to see you here as always. The Biltmore.
I told you it was Biltmore.
Okay, I was just giving you I'm giving you a hard time. Last Christmas is moderately sappy. Oh, I can't judge. I'm a big old sappy sap. You and me both. Okay, so
we'll watch it.
The Princess Switch.
The Princess Switch is awesome.
There's the Princess Switch, and then it's a trilogy. So the first one is straight up Hallmark. Mm-hmm. Straight up, and of course there's the Switch. The princess looks just like the baker, and da-da-da.
And then chaos ensues.
And so it's a delightful movie, as is. And then the second movie, there's a cousin, and it gets quirky and Disney-like.
It does get quirky and Disney-like.
There's kidnapping, and there's unconsensual swapping of the princesses, and it's pretty fun.
It's fun. And then there is
a
third one.
Like Mission Impossible meets Hallmark movie.
Yeah,
and it's amazing.
It's really fun. You got to watch the Princess Switches.
Yeah. Oh, and Lee said, I made your carrot cake this weekend. It was delicious. Oh, good. I haven't made it in a long time, but I really like that.
Maybe we can make it tonight.
That thing takes an hour to cook.
Oh.
But we can make carrot cake in a mug in the air fryer.
Okay.
So you want to get the Breville out and shred carrots?
Oh. I don't want to have to work for it.
I made dose of batter.
I don't want to have to work for it.
For us. I peeled the potatoes in the Breville.
I thought that Breville was supposed to be able to do all that stuff on its own.
Do I use any of the Joy, the just one ingredient products? So that's like so they have an oat milk. I haven't used their new oat milk, which is supposed to dissolve better. They have a hemp milk. I think that is also a paste butter kind of thing, like the cashew butter, the cashew Joy, and the almond, and you mix it together in your blender with water. And they just have some equipment that really makes it very smooth, so you don't have to strain it or anything. I've used them before, and I think they're quite good. I think they're a little expensive. And at home, I use mostly soy milk. Soy milk's my favorite, but I use oat milk, I use almond milk, and I'll use a combination and bring cashews into some of those sometimes too. Mm-hmm. Mill and wheat. Yeah, I got a mill, and I did one little demo, but I need to do that. Mm-hmm. Yep, tomato soup, din. Oh my gosh, I would love that so much. Ellen says, I think it would be so much fun if you could arrange a trip to Canada or meet and greet where we could get together and visit party. I love that. I'm a Studio 54 partier and love visiting and dancing. I don't know if I'm up for the dancing, but we could have mocktails and conversation and party games.
really party games, conversation,
Yeah,
and
I'd rather have
mocktails.
that. Yeah, you can make a cheese pie. I've cooked other things with this and melted it into things for sure. Yeah, butter tarts are similar to sugar pie.
Which is probably like a chess pie
Which is
in the
probably
South.
chest pie, I think. Nurse assignment. I pick up my new glasses. Okay, got it. And Dee does a bee cheese as well. Ooh, okay. I will come back. Apple put in the comments the fermented oat Ezekiel bread recipe because I want to try that. It's from Naturally Frugal on YouTube. Oh, hey, Mr. Jeremy. Says, I know you can relate. I had a food idea tonight, and I'm looking forward to the experiment.
Nice. Well, can't wait.
What are you making? Can you tell us yet, or is it a secret? We're trying to make my instant tomato soup. Tortillere.
So we were both wrong.
We were both wrong. Awesome. I want to try that because I bet that's absolutely delicious.
We could have a whole show of people just throwing up words and having us try to figure out how to pronounce them.
That is every life for me. I always try to, because I'm not trying to be, I'm not going to learn how to pronounce words. It's just literally English words escape me sometimes. And I grew up reading and not being around a whole lot of people.
You do everything pretty phonetically, too.
And so, yeah, so a lot of times, and this is one thing I've read, and I've seen like a meme or something on Facebook, is that you should be nice to people who mispronounce words because it means they grew up reading and not talking to people. And so I think because of that, my brain just doesn't always gather it the right way. It's an issue. Oh, and it's back in the 50s in North Florida.
My mom would never give me clues when I would read books when I was a kid. Like I was reading a Hardy Boy book one time, and they talked about going down the aisle, and I could not figure out and I kept running out to the living room saying, "What's an azel? What's an azel?" And my mom was like, "Figure it out in the context of the sentence." I said, "I've tried. I can't figure it out. What's an azel?" I need to know what an azel is. My mom said, "Bring me the book." And then I showed her, and she was like, "It's an aisle." Like you walk down the aisle, like at church, when you go down the aisle at church. And I was like, oh. And it wasn't nearly as exciting anymore because I thought it was some exciting, exotic thing that they were getting ready to go on or something in the book. So,
yeah. There's so many words I could have stories about that I just would rather not because I'm having new stories now about them. So Carrie's saying, can you tell us what you'll be doing in January? You've got me curious. So I wanted to talk to you about that and get some ideas and feedback from you guys. So I was thinking, and I know not everyone is in Kathy's Cooking Club, and that's okay. Because what it's going to be is something that's included in Kathy's Cooking Club, but it'll be one of the two classes, and I'll sell it separately. And I'm trying to decide what that's going to be. And so what I would love to know is what would you guys like? Like, would you like where we do a week of Mary's Mini? And, because I was thinking, and we can do a sliding scale. You can just contact us if you can't afford to pay, but it's going to be quite inexpensive. And we could just do potato recipes. I can show you the 3 potato recipes I'm making that day or something like that. Or would you rather have a different kind of class that we do? Like maybe, is there some class or things that you need to learn that would help you on your whole food, plant-based, no oil journey, or to reconnect to it after the holidays, something that would be helpful? We could even do something like a group to meet. So I want some of your ideas. I know I'm going to do something. I'm just waiting for the best idea. And Ellen actually worked at Studio 54 as a coat check girl. That is awesome.
Oh my gosh. I bet you've got stories.
Oh,
I would love to hear those stories.
That's amazing. And Sanders in Gainesville, it's been cold for a week. Oh, Apple says the Princess Switch is too much for me. Did you try to start watching it? Like, is it just too silly?
It's
There
fun.
is silliness to it.
They are so silly. They are.
But to get to the Mission Possible one,
Yeah.
you are rewarded.
You are
With
rewarded.
the most strange, fantastical story of all. And so, like, even to the point where, it's a little spoiler, but I feel okay about this, that the weird cousin from movie 2, they break out of the nunnery to come help them do some other crazy thing. So think about that for a while. Do you get up in the middle of the night and cook anything up? Nope. Mm-mm. In the middle of the night, I'm like, sleep. If I can't sleep, I'll read for a little bit until I go back to sleep. Oh yeah, the carrot cake in a mug. You can look up air fryer carrot cake on healthyslowcooking.com. It's from Vegan Cooking in Your Air Fryer book. And it's the best reason to have a bag of shredded carrots around at all times, which we don't have right now. Because they usually keep a bag on hand for like adding to salads or making this quick cake with. You can make it with gluten-free flour. You can make it with oats. You can make it with whole wheat flour. You can use sweetener of your choice, and it doesn't have any oil. It does have the option to add some nuts and raisins, but you could do you and leave them out or whatever. Yeah, mug cake. And the reason, here's the thing, my mug cake is different from microwave mug cakes in that it's not disgusting. And that's pretty much anybody's air fryer cakes over microwave cakes. So
I don't know why you have such this bad thing about microwave cakes.
You're the one who won't eat them. I've made them. I made them, and she's like, "That's disgusting. I don't like that." Why? And I'm like, "Why am I making these microwave mug cakes?" And it's you're the one who has a worse time with the texture than I do.
Yeah, but there's some that are okay. We just haven't made any homemade ones that are okay. There's like some that you can buy that used to be okay. Like,
You haven't bought mug cakes?
yeah, I used to buy mug cakes.
Like at work?
No, like,
You don't
early-
have them around here.
well, not here. I had some when I was still living in Wendell.
I don't even know. It was okay. So anyhow, those were not compliant mug cakes.
They
anyhow.
were not compliant mug cakes.
So,
They
but
were
she
like
all
Betty
she does
Crocker.
is complain about the mug cakes. But the thing is with the microwave, you do get this weird kind of unpleasant texture.
Mm-hmm.
And in the air fryer, and you can put it in like a ceramic mug and put it in there, and it's just delightful, like it's been baked. Oh, that could be interesting, a watch party. I've never done it, so I'm not sure what we would need to do. But if
Yeah.
someone can hold my hand through it, we'd be, or Cheryl, that sounds like a good thing for you to research.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that could be fun.
Mona says I'm on Cheryl's side about the games.
Did you talk about the recipe for the carrot cake mug cake? Isn't that?
I said exactly where it was just like
Oh.
3 seconds ago.
Sorry,
HealthySlowCooking.com. Look up carrot cake.
I'm sorry, my brain.
I know. Hint, coffee is involved.
Oh, Jeremy.
You are a naughty little muffin. Jeremy's in the plant pod in Chapel Hill, so we actually know him and get to see him in person. I usually don't like games. I don't know what I was thinking. In my head, I was like, pin the tail on Rudolph or something. I think I was thinking of like kids' games. Oh, and Always Learning is going to try my cheese recipe. Your first vegan cheese, and it's so easy. It's basically just like a block of cheese sauce, so it's really easy. Coffee with dinner. I'm thinking perhaps it is a dessert. Oh, the word sponge totally embarrassed me. Spongy. Spongy? I'm trying to think how sponge. Spongy?
Spong.
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 That's a good one too. Yep, I could see that. And Brazen says I think I have sandwich on here or something. because it's not, but I'm like
poor
trying to
mouse.
move.
That poor mouse has been through so much. It gets food on it and things spilled on it.
The kitchen mouse has a hard time. So Brazen says, my hubby's on the spectrum, and yeah, he grew up reading more than talking to people in his late 40s. I still have to be like, no, honey, this is Isle, not Isley. I try to be kind, but also giggle. I think, when you're married, you kind of get to be a little bit, picking on each other. As long as it feels like good fun and everybody's okay with it. Dee says, I need to master cooking. I've been doing this almost 14 years. SOS. That last 4, that's amazing. Mm-hmm. And Davika says, love potato recipes. Yeah, potatoes are the best. And like a potato marries many. So marries many, for you guys who don't know, I know we're getting into this. It's 10 days. You pick one starch. You eat that starch 3 times a day. You can have other vegetables with it. You can have some sauces with it, things like that. So with potatoes or rice, you can get crazy. You can make a lot of really yummy things. Carrie says, oh yeah, Mary's Mini. I've never done one. Would love to join a group for it. Always Learning's interested in that. Betsy says, I think I'd love any group that both you both lead and learn so much more and have the support, which is so awesome. Ooh, Ellen's going to True North in January to do a 2-week water-only fast.
Ooh.
You'll have to tell us how it was. I've been like pumping Chef AJ for all of her news.
Yeah, we're both kind of curious on the whole water fast thing.
Those micro copies. Oh, the micro cups. Yeah, the little cups that go in there. Yeah. I guess I said that a little bit not nice. I'm sorry. Sorry, not sorry. They are just. Mine isn't disgusting. You love them.
No, I like.
They're really good. They taste just like they're from the oven.
I like the carrot cake.
It tastes like a cupcake.
It does. It's like a cupcake in a mug.
Yeah. Davika says, Kathy, yes, I've not had a good mug cake. They're disgusting. I thought I did something wrong. It's just, you can only do so much in a microwave when you've got no oil. I was making them gluten-free, no oil, all this. I mean, so at a point, the microwave can't help you. It's just making it worse. I'm glad you bursted out laughing, Lynn. I looked at 2 names. I looked at your last name and I put them together. Jillian. Jillian will be your new name. And said, yes, I always said sponge with a hard G. I was young and 3 boy brothers didn't stop laughing. Oh, and there was a body part, which is why I won't say the word. It's a technical term for a woman's body part. And I said it just the weirdest way ever because I was asking somebody a question and they were like, no idea what I was saying. Insatiable got me. And then I married the guy that embarrassed me. That's funny. And Apple says, I stumble over pronunciation too. I'm autistic. I'm pretty sure I'm ADHD, and I wonder if I'm on the communicative part of a spectrum. So I don't know. I've not been tested for anything, but I certainly get emotionally dysregulated.
She has she checks a lot of boxes for sure.
Yeah. But I'm like, it's interesting because I think at 58 and a half, I'm finally seeing some of these things. So like when we traveled, I really thought I would just pop back. And so I still don't know if it's just from 2020 on that I'm still processing that, or if just being alone and not being overstimulated so much has just made it so much more apparent. But we were going to go see Cheryl's mom this month. We talked to her, and she was okay with us postponing it.
We were actually going to go today.
Yeah, we were going to go today. But we didn't want to board Max because there's that, it's not a dog flu because there's a real dog flu, but there's a dog illness that's virus that's transferred. And animals are dying from it.
Yeah.
So
Some of the kennels here have had to be closed. Like one of the kennels was closed for a month and had several dogs pass away because of it. So,
so
we're just not taking any
scary.
chances. He's an old guy, so we don't want to take any
Is
chances
he
with
12
him.
now?
He's 12, yeah.
Yeah, so he's 12 and he's limping now too because he like pulled his arm and then he was getting better. We didn't let him go for for a few days. And then somebody knocked on the door and he's just scrambling on the hardwood
Well,
floor.
and then the other day he launched himself out of my car. He wouldn't let me help him. He's like, "Don't try to help me. I do not want to be helped in or out of this vehicle."
Yeah, it's just very interesting. So what we talked to her about a couple of things. So I said, talk to your mom, and her mom is actually really delightful and really sweet to us and super sweet to me. Like she brags to all her friends when I have a new book come out.
Yeah.
It's very sweet. So I said, ask if she's okay if you don't come, or if you come by yourself, and I will stay with the dog because I don't mind spending a holiday by myself. I will just like stay in my jammies and take bubble baths and watch all the Hallmark movies I can hold. So it's not really that big a deal for me. Or can we maybe bring the dog? And so we talked about that, and we've kind of moved things to January, and then we'll talk about it then. But I think you and I needed the brain space
I think so, yeah.
of not traveling for 2 entire months.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I used to like to travel a lot more. It's not that I don't like to travel, and like we enjoy going places and seeing things, but if it's too much and we like before I went to Salem and to Massachusetts, I just doubled down on some work stuff and exhausted myself before we went, and I can't do that. Like I have a list. There's some stuff she needs to do too, but I have a bigger list.
Well, and then we both have kind of like these little ADD brains, but usually our brains complement each other, and we usually can like one is stronger in this and the other one's stronger in that, and the two brains together make one like super brain. But when we went on those trips, like both of our brains went to the opposite places they normally are, and so it was communicating was so hard.
Because hasn't it been like
It's been since
17
October.
years though that we've been together? Has it been?
No, I don't think it's that long. Is it?
How? Yeah, you turned 40.
I'm 56,
You're 2 years younger than me.
so at least 16.
16 or 17 years. So this is a long time that we kind of didn't really run into this, and we just ran into. Now we ran into 2020. Do you have to breathe that loud?
Yeah.
Do you actually have to exist right now in this space? So we worked through that like everybody else did, but I mean usually one of us is on all the time. So it was
somebody
interesting.
usually can like hold up the other one whose brain's not functioning at 100%, but we were both out in left field so far that like it was a challenge, and then it didn't help that like I was hungry all the time.
And that's because
I wasn't eating enough when we were on vacation because I just didn't have time to eat, and the options that I were given were basically lettuce, and I couldn't get enough lettuce in me to keep me full, and there wasn't time in the schedule for me to go and get something else. So we tried. We made some rice in the room and things like that,
but
but
get there to eat it.
But it was just the scheduling. But we'll plan that much better next year if we go back to that conference for sure.
And Mona's saying the dog flu's going on here as well. We're staying home. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so it just means don't let your dog drink out of another bowl. I mean, think of your dog like you would you. You're not going to go up to somebody in a cafe going, can I have a drink of that water you've been drinking on? Right? Or anything like that. And like the place that we board, Max, is really conscientious, and they have UV lights in the ductwork to try and get rid of the viruses, but Max is older. Yeah. He got the crud last time he was there, just the general crud. Mm-hmm. and what do they call it? Kennel cough. He got kennel cough last time, but it was bad. No, we thought it was kennel cough.
And it wasn't. It was
the flu.
It was the flu. And
it was bad, and he was sick for a couple of months.
in fact, when we called the vet initially, they were like, oh, it's just probably a little bug, and he'll get over it probably within the next 3 to 5 days. And then when that came around and he was worse, I called them back, and they said, yeah, we're getting reports of some stuff now. And we told them where he stayed at, and they were like, yeah, we're getting some reports, so, bring him in this afternoon and we'll do some tests. And they were like, it won't cost you anything because the company that makes the flu shots that he gets every year are actually paying for these tests because they don't think this should be happening. So they want to get ahead of the thing. So I was like, that's fine with me. And I took them in, and we were waiting in the parking lot for them, and they came out in like hazmat suits. And I was like, what the heck is going on? Because
they were being very conscientious, which we're very glad of.
They were. They didn't
bring it back to the
They
other
didn't want
dogs.
to take it back into the sick dogs, that were there staying there, and dogs that had had surgery that day and stuff. So they basically just stripped at the back door all that stuff off and put it in a trash can.
Kind of like people with COVID.
Yeah, so it was interesting, but.
And Brazen says, I'm ADD, not heavy on the H. Realized I was an adult ADD when there was a daytime talk show about it, and I was like folding laundry and staring at the TV, wondering, do they have cameras in my house? I feel like that when I watch TikTok. And I don't think I'm everything TikTok talks about either. I know that that's a big subject with the young people. But I knew Cheryl was ADHD, and I think you get more ADHD in the traditional, you could have possibly been diagnosed, but like if you communicate okay, you're a girl, you did what you're supposed to, you stayed in your seat, and you tested well, then they just didn't bother with it.
Yeah, which I did all those things.
The story. So,
I actually, instead of being up and down and hyper and moving around all the time, I was the one that stayed in one spot and hyper focused on something.
Yeah, like I read really fast. Mm-hmm. So like, and the thing is so when we were in first grade, I had the chicken pox when everybody learned how to read, and I definitely am weird about not knowing how to do things that other people know how to do. That's a personality flaw. So I came out of just having the chicken pox, trying not, and I'm a scraper. So I'm a 6-year-old scraper, trying not to do that. So it was a rough time. Yeah. And then everybody knew how to read, and so I was like put in the bottom reading group, and I was a little traumatized, and I was there for I think 4 whole days. Because I'm like, this has got to stop. Little Kathy was like, no. And I had wanted to learn how to read for years, but my parents wouldn't teach me. So, like, I've been an overachiever probably since I existed. And once I got the reading thing down, and then I was like, oh, okay, I get this. And even in, like, the 2nd and 3rd grade, so, you'd read something, and then you'd put the book back. And so I'd read it, and sometimes I'd read it again, and then I'd go put the book back, and they'd be like, you didn't read that. And I'm like, I read that twice. What do you want to ask me about? And then I got where I would just read the thing. Sometimes I'd read it twice, and then I'd go to a different part of the book and read a different story, which sometimes worked, and then sometimes it would be the story you'd read next, and I'd be like, dang it. I already know this story. I'll read it again, but now I'm going to read it even faster because I don't have to. But it took a long time. Finally I was in an advanced reading group at school, and there were 4 of us in it at the end of the trailer. And so then I could read anything I wanted as long as I wanted to.
You would have loved growing up in my house then, because when I ran out of my books to read, I'd go in my dad's office and get his college books off the shelf and start reading those.
There was very few books in my house, and I would read the Children's Encyclopedia and make random decisions. So and I remember I'd make my grilled cheese sandwich, looking at and I put 4 potato chips because that's what was in the picture. See, now do you see where I feel like I might be a little peppery somewhere on the spectrum? So And Davika says she could spend holidays by herself. And I've told people I've gone away and didn't, just so I could just
I've done that too.
have this alone, quiet time. And Always Larry said, yeah, I wouldn't board right now. Even a young, healthy dog is airborne. Yeah, absolutely. And she couldn't find a pet sitter, so 2 dogs and a cat are coming on Xmas vacation with me. The Airbnb said yes. I'm so glad.
Yeah, that's great.
Dominique says, late to the party, I can get that fabulous cheese recipe. There is an oat version on my YouTube channel. And I think the recipe is written out, but you may have to watch the video and write it down as it goes along. It's from several years ago. I will try to get this one or another one up, but like I said, I'm way behind. So I'm saying it with all the intention to do it, but I have like 20 things I have to do before that can happen. If I can't get it done really quick, it is in one of my cookbooks. It's either in the Revised Vegan Slow Cooker, or I think it's in the gluten-free vegan cooking in your Instant Pot. So it's in one of, I think those are the 2 it's in. Brazen Spirituality does not perform to their potential was the theme of my school report cards. Recently found out one of my dad's that said the same thing. I'm late 50s and he would be early 80s. ADHD was not a thing. Absolutely. Yeah. Hi, Dilla. Max is okay. We were just talking about not boarding him just because there is that airborne virus thing going around. We were going to go to Cheryl's mom tonight, but we decided like a few weeks ago we weren't going to go and talk to her. And I kind of just needed a break from just traveling, even though we go there and literally I sleep all afternoon. Like,
my mom and I just sit and watch TV all day long.
And I just say, I'm giving them time to be alone together. Isn't that glorious? And then I'll take like 3-hour naps, and then I sleep like 10 hours. I just sleep, and then we watch TV, and then sometimes I'll do a little bit of work.
Yeah, you'll make dinner for them sometimes.
Yeah, and I'll make dinner.
Unless they insist on going out somewhere.
So, yeah. Lydia says, I don't read fast, but I love listening to audiobooks. And there's nothing wrong with not reading fast at all. Because there's always a part of me that's like, what if I took a speed reading course? How fast could I read?
Oh, you are such an overachiever.
Because I'm like, if I find a book I really like, and I actually read a trilogy a month ago.
What's Bart Simpson's sister's name?
Lisa Simpson, the smart one.
You're Lisa Simpson.
I like her, thank you.
You are all Lisa Simpson, and I am all Bart.
A little bit. A little bit.
I'm like, why should I do that?
Because I'm like, if I read faster, I could read more books. And I listen to audiobooks too. Actually, one of the things I've been doing to kind of de-stress and re-regulate my whole nervous and emotional system has been listening to some things on Audible. And they have some that they're read almost like TV shows, so like, or plays would probably be a more appropriate way to put it. But that they're different people, truly different actors with different voices. And I find that incredibly engaging and relaxing, and then I can still get a lot of work done. Bailey says, I pet sit, so I'm always working through the holidays, which is fine with me as I have no family left and friends spend the holiday with their families. Yeah. Plus you get to stay with cute pets. Yep. Hopefully that's delightful. Oh, and Always Larry said, I wish you lived near me. I'd rather leave my pets in my own home where they're comfortable. Yeah, it can be hard with cats for sure. Did anybody else, so you guys all seem to be like into the Mary's Mini thing or a potato thing. Is there anybody vote for anything else while I'm in planning mode for the next couple of days? Because I'm trying to write out some things I am planning. We will be having some lives over like Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, probably for a little bit. We'll probably do New Year's Eve and New Year's Day, even if it's not around the appropriate timing. New Year's Day, I'll be making some black-eyed peas, so maybe we'll make black-eyed peas and cornbread together. We can make Chef AJ's recipe for cornbread. I got some apple juice, that isn't where I put it last time, to make her cornbread, or maybe we'll make some without apple juice. Because we can make some with some cream corn or something like that.
Somebody said potatoes.
Potatoes. Oh, and somebody's doing Mary's Mini Day 5.
Nice.
Oh, you got this. Tell us what you've been eating. What was the starch you picked?
Yeah.
I totally want to know that.
Kathy's always like trying to figure out like which starch she can get the most bang for her buck with.
I liked it when we taught corn, when corn tortillas were still there. And see, I'm cold. Aren't you cold?
It's getting chilly now.
Do you want to get our things? Our little blanket poncho things? Because I actually put that in the description. We haven't shown it.
Okay.
It's the same one we did last time, so we don't have to talk about it or anything. It's just, we've actually been using those heated ponchos without the heated part a lot.
I used the heated part. I ran both batteries down.
Well, that's why I haven't used it then.
Yep, because I keep wearing the batteries down. I don't know where mine
I'm sorry
is.
for covering my mouth when I'm chewing, but I really don't want you to have to see the food in my mouth. And this was exactly what I would be doing if you're across the table from me. All right. Dee says, try a 6-foot iguana sit. I do have a sitter if needed. Yeah, ooh, we could do hush puppies. I've got a great hush puppy recipe in vegan cooking in your air fryer. I think it's vegan cooking in your air fryer. I think that's the name. Lydia says audiobooks help to multitask. And I am a multitasky queen.
I hope.
Are you going to help me?
Yeah.
Look how sweet she's being. It's because y'all are here. No, she would help me anyhow. And there's snaps. And there's a battery. And there's 4 heating settings.
Yes.
And so Anna, and you can get these at Walmart. I don't have an affiliate link with Walmart. And they may be back in stock. Anna said they were going to be back in stock online. These are by Sunbeam. But you're more likely to be able to find it in your local store. They're not expensive. And so it can be a blanket, or it can be a poncho that you wear around the house with a battery. It's kind of awesome. Do you need help?
No, I got it.
Okay. And this is what we were in our other cozy one. Mona says she loves black-eyed peas. Black-eyed peas are the best, and I have this year's Rancho Gordo Lucky New Year black-eyed peas. Sweet potatoes and white potatoes is Mary's Mini that she's doing. I'm assuming you're a she. I'm sorry, I just see Facebook user. So if you're not, if you put your name in, I will use your name. Bailey says, I'm in Australia, so probably not. Probably not close. Well, Australia is lucky to have a pet sitter like yourself.
Yes.
I wish Max is so overprotective about the house. He's also dog reactive. He gets a little car sick. Like, we have so many little things with Max.
He's little special needs.
He's delightful, and he's our baby. But there's a reason he hasn't gone on a 12-hour car ride yet. So I'm going to need to have really heavy-duty earplugs because he's a whiner.
Oh, he whines so bad.
And he will whine in the house for hours at a time. So, but he's getting better as he's getting a little older. Like, just then, I really thought he was having a fit a while back when I left. But he really had to go to the bathroom. So...
These are the batteries. You come with like this battery pack, the Sunbeam battery, and then
which is rechargeable.
You can charge them up. They come with a plug that goes in here, and you charge it up. And then when you put them in here, you just connect it to the little wire, and you drop it in the pocket, and snap it in the pocket, and then on the inside. It has this little control panel and it has 4 heat settings. But unfortunately, this one is dead because I had it on last night.
It's kind of, I
Kinda
feel like
full.
it's so fancy. I feel like it's too fancy for me. But also,
It does its job.
like but it's warm just to wear like this.
Max has been all over this one.
Well, there's white dog hairs and orange cat hairs on everything. If you have animals, you understand.
Max likes it when the battery's on.
He does. Lydia says, I'm good with Mary's Mini. Okay, well, we'll talk about that. I'll put out some of that, and we'll see what we can work out with it. Because Marilyn was also interested in doing something like that as part of Kathy's Cooking Club when I asked her in class, too, and people seem to be interested. And Kitty Mommy says, yes, I got the Rancho Gordo black-eyed peas and want to make them for New Year's. I've got a great recipe. I have a slow cooker recipe on Healthy Slow Cooking, and an Instant Pot recipe on plantbasedinstantpot.com, and they're really good. I also then take the leftovers and I used to turn them, we'll see what I do this time. I would make this black-eyed pea pate with pecans. So if you're able to eat nuts and that works with whatever plan you're working, or if you're okay with having it be a special treat and it works for you or not, you could look at that. And Facebook user said, the reason I'm doing Mary's Mini is because I ate a lot of vegan food over Thanksgiving and felt awful. I feel like we have not been doing perfectly at all. We've not been doing all the things, but I was so dysregulated, and by that I mean I was a hot mess, like just a hot mess. So it was like I had the thinnest skin I've ever had.
Yeah, you were real sensitive.
And so even if there was a loud noise, I would feel it jar through my whole nervous system. So it just took a long time, and that made things a little harder. We didn't like just go out and have burgers or something, not even Beyond Burgers, but we ate out a little bit more, and then we just kind of indulged ourselves a little more. We allow for some indulgence, but I'm also, with everybody getting sick and me getting sick, I've had a cold. I feel like I'm a little better today. I think by tomorrow I'll feel great. It's just, it's time for me not to be going out and doing all the things. I'll probably still go to the vegan Indian buffet a couple times, but I don't know that much. Like right now, it sounds really awesome to stay home for the next 16 days or whatever is left.
We are going to go see some lights, some more lights.
Oh, that's right. Well, I'm with a caveat being that, so I don't know if you guys follow Jill Dalton, the Whole Food Plant-Based Cooking Show. She lives near me, and she actually came out to the Indian buffet, and we hung out. And we're going to go over to her neighborhood. She said she has some really good Christmas lights there, so we'll probably eat at this really good Ethiopian restaurant that has a vegan plate that's delightful.
That is the best Ethiopian
I've
ever had.
dish that I've never had before except for there. And there's really very little oil in there. There is some, so again, if you're a purist, that probably isn't for you. But it fits into our percentage. And then I think we're going to go see the Chinese
lanterns.
So it's like a whole amphitheater decked out with these beautiful things, and that I may be able to stream some
Yeah, I
of.
think we can stream some from that.
So hopefully we can do that. Okay, I'm going to get there, but actually I'm going to go ahead and start here. What are hush puppies? Which is a brilliant question. Hush puppies are like little pieces of cornbread that are typically deep fried. And so it came from there's a few different stories. One story comes back from slavery times, and that one makes me sad, so I'm not going to tell that one because evidently I'm feeling extra emotional. But at fish camp, like people, at least in North Carolina, men would go out and fish, and then that's the time they cooked, and then they would put some cornmeal into the oil to kind of give the kids something to eat or to hush the dogs, give them a treat. But they're delightful, and I make them in the air fryer. They're pretty good. I still like them. So it's usually like a cornbread batter, usually with a little bit of chopped onion or something like that. And it's quite plain, but it's delightful.
They're tasty.
Dominique says, for Christmas we decided to make a vegan charcuterie board, and I would really like to make that cheese. Is there a recipe somewhere in my head? That is where the recipe is. But I tell you what, you email me at kathyhester@gmail.com, and I will do my best. I literally just made this cheese tonight, and I did not write down any of the things. But
Look at that.
hand me my computer.
Look at that.
That's
like
I've got
perfect.
Give me my computer. I'll tell you this recipe and then I'll see if I can remember. And if anybody writes this down and emails it to me, I would greatly appreciate it. Or at least the things that I say after. Okay. So this is in the grilled sandwich class. If you're in Kathy's Cooking Club, there's a couple of these. And I call it Easy DIY Meltable Vegan Cheese Cashew or Chickpea Base. 2 cups of water. This is how I did it. 1.5 cups, which is 1 can of drained cooked chickpeas. 2 tablespoons nutritional yeast. 2 teaspoons of salt. You could use a salt substitute. Don't worry about that at all. 1.5 teaspoons of lactic acid. If you don't have lactic acid, you could use probably like 3/4 teaspoon of apple cider vinegar. 1 teaspoon granulated onion. I also put in a teaspoon of garlic powder. I put in half a teaspoon of smoked paprika. I'm trying to remember what it looked like. I got to remember what it looked like when it went in. I did probably a 1/16 teaspoon of dry mustard powder. I did 1/8 teaspoon of dried turmeric. Let me see if I have anything else over here. Because I think I put all the spices over here, didn't I? Yeah.
It's really tasty.
Onion. Yep, that's all. That's all that's in there. So you blend all that up together with the 2 cups of water that we started out with in the very beginning of me listing these. 2 cups of water, can of cooked chickpeas drained, 2 tablespoons nutritional yeast, 2 teaspoons salt, you can use less or none, 1.5 teaspoons lactic acid, 1 teaspoon granulated onion, 1 teaspoon, I'd say granulated garlic, half a teaspoon smoked paprika, 1/4 teaspoon turmeric, 1/16 teaspoon dry mustard. I feel like there's something else I'm leaving out, but I don't think so. Okay, then you can either blend all that together, but when you're using the chickpeas, you can put everything together. If you're using the cashews, you blend those things together by themselves till the cashews are smooth. Better if they're soaked. We're not using cashews. So then you're going to add 3 tablespoons of tapioca starch and 2 tablespoons kappa carrageenan. That's what gives it that sliceable texture. You can try agar-agar. I've never made it with it. I don't know if it's going to work the same and set up the same.
I think it would be.
It's going to be a little more like
wobbly than
jelly-like.
This is more cheese-like.
But it's up to you. If there's any of these ingredients you don't want to eat, don't eat them. Not trying to make you, I promise. So you've combined everything in the blender together, which is what I did. You put it in a saucepan. You whisk it over like medium heat, and then it's going to kind of start clumping, and you're going to be like, I've done something wrong. Just keep whisking. Keep whisking. And you're probably going to whisk 10 minutes. My wrist was really hurting. Like maybe it was 5 minutes. Maybe it was 2 minutes. And my wrist is weak. I don't know. So you whisk and whisk and whisk, and then you keep whisking that a little harder, and then it comes back in. It starts looking shiny and smoother. And then I think I showed you at one point there were some little pieces on the whisk. So at the top of the whisk, it's going to be where you peel that piece off and you can pop it in your mouth. Or you've put a spatula around it, and that you can pull it off the spatula. That's the sign that it's going to set up. Then you just put it in a mold. I use this. Let it cool all the way down. It could be in the refrigerator. I put it outside so it could do it really quick. And then literally, I don't line it with anything. I don't oil it. I don't put parchment paper. Just put it in a glass thing. I took my hand, went like this. It wasn't even cold enough, and it plopped out like that.
I feel like it didn't take you any time to make it.
It really didn't. It was less than 20 minutes from when I started to make it to when I pulled it out. And if it's in the summer, it's going to take a significant amount more time. I got the house cold, and then I set it outside. So there you go. That's the best I've got for you, I swear. I love casseroles. There's some casserole classes, and some of the classes don't have front-facing pages right now where you can buy the classes. But if you know there's a class, I mean, I'm going to try and put one class on sale to the general public every month next year. I'm saying right now, and I think I'm believing it. And if I knew what you wanted, but I have a casserole class. I think we have like 110 classes in Kathy's Cooking Club. So when you join, you get 2 new classes a month, but you get access to all the classes I've ever done. So it's pretty awesome. So like, even if you're like, yeah, this month doesn't sound that interesting, you've got plenty to go and look at. You've got PDFs for everything and recipes. I keep you busy. Mm-hmm. Lynn says yes to hush puppies. Yeah, maybe we'll do that. Cute Pets doesn't really feel like work. That's awesome. Max would feel like a little bit of work probably.
Yeah.
But
Max is a little bit of work.
I need one of those for when our power goes out. Yeah. I was thinking about that because like when the power goes out here, we don't have a generator. A lot of people in our neighborhood do, but we have a well. So that means we don't have any water. So when the power goes out, we don't have any water. We do have a gas fireplace, and actually, but no, it doesn't matter with the gas heat because it still goes through all the electrical stuff, right?
No, this one we should be able to run because this one the thing runs on batteries.
Okay, but our big furnace, we can't use that either. Dee says in her hush puppy, she does sliced onion, jalapenos, tossed with flour, cornstarch. That's great. And T.S. has just got home, joining late. What is a hush puppy corn muffin? It's sometimes a ball. It's usually a ball of kind of cornbread batter that's deep fried. Mm-hmm. It's usually served at, like, I'm from Winston-Salem, so they have fish camps.
Served with seafood typically here.
Yeah, so in that area, so like, and they're just these light golden brown, delightful little fritters, but you can make them in the air fryer for sure. Mm-hmm. Oh, always learning. Yes, the poncho's kind of muffled. Yeah, I can see why, because mine is underneath it.
That should be good.
Thanks for saying that. I think I got it. All right, and so that's what a corn muffin is. And Always Learning says, I'm a dog trainer. I would love to stay with Max, but you're far away from me too. And that's the thing. There's certain things, like we need to either be able to start traveling with Max, or we need to work up to having someone come and him a couple times a week so that he can get used to someone coming to the house. But he's really protective about the house, and that's where his big problem is with people. If we meet people out, he's fine. And if we bring people in with us after we've been out all together with the dog, it's a possibility. And part of it's our fault because we just didn't catch it quick enough. And our other dog, our older dog, when we got him, displayed the same behaviors in some ways. So she'd bark and act like she was going to get you, and you walk in there and she'd be like, hey. But her doing that just escalated Max more.
Yeah.
So please share your favorite black-eyed pea recipe for the new year. If you go to healthyslowcooking.com, you can get the slow cooker recipe. Just look up black-eyed peas. You'll also find Sloppy Joe black-eyed peas. I think And then plantbasedinstantpot.com gives you the Instant Pot recipe. Oh, and the person who just did the Mary's Mini said, I don't eat oil, and I know it was in the food I ate at my son's. Try to be kind to yourself, and just because you ate something as a mistake, don't take that in quite the same way as if you went out and ate oil on purpose. You know, because I know when I became vegan, or actually when I became vegetarian, I was 18 and I stopped eating the chicken ramen and any of the shrimp ramen or any of the other ramen my 18-year-old self was eating. And I ate the vegetable ramen. That was before I read labels, and it's why I read labels, is that it had chicken powder in it. And so at first I felt really bad, and then I went, there's no way I would have known, and I just let myself be okay with it. And I think sometimes make sure to give yourself a little bit of grace.
Yeah.
Now, granted, if you don't feel good and Mary's Mini is making you feel better, I'm all for that. I just don't want you really dumping on yourself and feeling like you're a bad person or you've done something bad. So, you know, that's my advice for you. These wraps are heated with rechargeable batteries, Dee. These are ridiculous. I feel like I'm wearing something that's too fancy for me.
Have a pocket.
And it's just a Sunbeam thing you get at Walmart.
And it has a rechargeable battery pack. And they say you can't use just any battery pack with it. You have to use their battery pack. And you have to use their charger to charge the battery pack. So, and the charger looks oddly like a Nintendo Switch charger. So, same color, brown and everything. So.
Yeah, it's a heated throw and a wrap me up thing. So they actually have a way you snap it and you make it into like a blanket too, or this throw. It's kind of cool, and I was like, we won't use it that much after the first live, and actually
we've been using them every
we've used
day.
it constantly, and we've had them on the couch, and we've covered up the dog with them and turned on the heated blanket for him, and he was thrilled. Bailey says, I'm hanging out for autumn again. You two look so cozy. Meanwhile, I'm here sweating. Yes, it's always so weird because I love to learn about different cultures and different things. And so I love the Blue Boys, which were two gray pits that were in Australia. So sometimes Australian news or New Zealand news will pop up and I'm like, why is the weather so different? And then
we
I go,
like to watch a lot of Australian and New Zealand TV.
Yes.
Has been our thing too, typically.
And I'm sure we're watching the old stuff, but we really, really do love it. Fisk, the second season of Fisk just came on Netflix. It's so dry and hilarious. And then there was a New Zealand reality kind of thing that was about a funeral home in New Zealand that was funny, heartwarming.
The Casketeers.
The Casketeers. And it's gone from U.S. Netflix at this point.
And I don't think we even got all the seasons of it.
But we watched 3 of the seasons, and it was just so fun and delightful.
And
so
then
you
we
got to
like.
tell us some TV we need to be watching.
And what's the one that we would watch on Acorn? That's the New Zealand detective. Is it Brokenwood?
Yeah, Brokenwood.
Yeah.
So we definitely watch a lot of Acorn and stuff. I am still running a special on the Cooking Club, and you can email me. Actually, email Cheryl at support@healthyslowcooking.com, and she will give you that link. I think I took them off down below because I had a whole bunch of links. I've got a link for the soup class where we make this powder. It was a great class. I think we made 7 recipes in it. Usually I make 4 recipes. But I got excited, as I will sometimes. So we made a whole bunch of recipes. They're great for gifts and things like that. And then I still have the Instant Pot slow cooker bundle going. And I'm getting ready in a couple of weeks to do a different bundle that'll be really good for starting out the new year. It'll be 3 classes, and I'm pretty sure I know which classes they're going to be, but I got to get that together. So that goes for anyone. Also, if you are in special circumstances, if you're unemployed, if you are on Social Security and having issues, I know some of you are retired and have more money than I will ever understand. So it's not that being older means that you necessarily need help. But if you are in a situation, email support at Healthy Slow Cooking. Let us know what you can afford. Kathy's Cooking Club is normally $50 a month. You get 2 live classes and all the back classes. Sometimes if you go through different ways, there may be a sale hiding in somewhere. Like usually when I put a class up, there will be a sale somewhere along the line if you get the class. And I've been doing it for 50% off. Because I know it's hard. And if you guys want to do a Kathy's Cooking Club or a bundle or something for a gift, just contact us. So if you don't hear from Cheryl at support@healthyslowcooking.com, you can come directly at me at kathyhester@gmail. But I got 400 emails today. So your chances are better. Because I would love to get you guys all in so that we could do all the things. And if I know what you can afford, then we can work from there. So don't feel bad if you're like, I really want to do it, but I can only afford X. Yeah. I can't afford $50, but I can afford X dollars, and let us know. Because I don't want it to be hard on people, but the people who, and if you have extra, the people who pay full price help me do that. It helps, level things out where I can get more people in who want to be in. So I've had people sponsor other people before too, but that's not something I really usually talk about. If you got questions, ask us. I've got about 2 minutes and then, let's see. Oh, which Ethiopian Airways?
Airways, yeah.
Airways in Cary near Patel Brothers grocery store.
Is it?
It's like it's not just catty cornered, but it's like catty cornered over the railroad tracks. It would take about 15 minutes to walk there. Diana, I have some graffiti eggplant, need a recipe. What I would do, because I have some leftover grits in the fridge hardening up into a polenta cake, right? Because grits and polenta, same thing. And I would cut those in triangles and I would air fry them to get them crispy. Saute some onion, garlic, the eggplant. I like to saute the eggplant until it's very soft. Add in a can of diced tomatoes or crushed tomatoes with basil, depending on if you have some textural issues. Add in some garlic or garlic powder. You could do some salt, some nutritional yeast, salt or salt substitute, a little balsamic vinegar. Did I say ground rosemary? I'm really into ground rosemary right now. I put some ground rosemary and I put a little bit of oregano in there and make like a nice stew. And I would serve it over polenta. You could also serve it over pasta or zoodles or something like that. That would be the easiest thing I can see. Janice says, just having to see this and the ponchos are out. That's exactly how we feel. I'm sitting here with my blanket and rechargeable hand warmers. Yes. Yeah, and we told Lynn, I didn't know you were in Apex. Have we met yet? Have you been going to any of the Indian things or going to Elizabeth's Plant-Based Pod? And there's a side conversation. Ooh, Janice just unpacked her second First Seed Foods order. Lots of dal makhani.
I love the dal makhani.
So we got ours too. And I put some stuff in the newsletter. And don't forget, if you're not on the newsletter, go down into the description and go click on Get My Spice Recipes and get on the newsletter, and I'll tell you when things happen. But I need to talk more about that because I got really busy. I was going to remind everybody on Saturday to order before the deadline closed at midnight. But then I did a really long class and I was absolutely exhausted.
And I've already blown through all of our vegetable korma.
Yeah.
I ate it all the day it came.
Yeah, Dee's asking about, this was the chickpea-based cheese, and the video's about oat-based cheese, but you could pretty much do about the same thing. And I think the video is a pepper jack. Marie, I do not do cook-along classes. I do, but it's just like this. I don't know how long you've been in this, so it's not that I just demo and I ignore everybody. We have a very good community conversation and talk about things. Part of the reason we don't really do cook-along classes is because sometimes I develop the recipes in the class to show you how I make recipes. So I do it a little different than most cooking instructors do. It's not that we never do any recipe, and sometimes it's just a variation. This is a variation on a cheese I made before, but I gave you one recipe and then go off on a tangent. I feel like that's more annoying than me just going off on a tangent all by myself. If people really wanted it, we could talk about doing one occasionally, because what happens if you get 30, 40 people cooking at the same time is people are going to get hung up at different places.
Yeah.
And I would have to do 2 recipes or 3 recipes instead of getting through 4 or 5 and sometimes bonus recipes.
Yeah. But you can always watch the replay
and cook along
with the
it.
replay.
Absolutely. And Dee says she uses agar-agar in her cheese and it's that, so that'd be great.
All right.
Yes, I have used chickpea tofu. I've made chickpea tofu. So in Kathy's Cooking Club, we have a class that's where we make Burmese tofu or chickpea tofu, and we make soy tofu. And we talk about that. Yeah, it is a firmer texture. And actually, earlier on, Apple was saying that she puts the same spices and, nutritional yeast, lactic acid. She puts that in her Burmese tofu and uses that like cheese. Janelle says, this is what I love about your cozy holiday chats. It's the best out of all the social media get-togethers.
Oh, thank you.
It really feels like all of us together are sitting with you two right at your table. Oh, I'm so glad, because that's what we really want more than anything. And kind of going back, Marie, this is kind of, even though I'm not sitting here, if you saw from the beginning, I was cooking, but I read the comments. People talk to each other in the comments just like they do on the lives. And it's a really good community feel. And you can ask questions during any time of it for sure. And Apple says, I do prefer the texture of Kappa carrageenan over agar-agar. And many people do. And that's the thing. I know it's a hot topic for some people, and I really try to avoid saying this is good, this is bad when it has to do with food. I will say this is starch solution compliant and this is not, because that's an easy go. I don't have any stomach upsets with carrageenan. I do believe some people do. Some people can't have nutritional yeast either, and that's valid. But
Neither one of us have any issues.
There's some recipes then that it's a diminishing return. Like making queso without nutritional yeast, then it doesn't taste like cheese. And if you're okay with that, and you're okay with it tasting like a delightful dip made with Mexican spices and chilies, then that's perfect. That works for you. Thanks, Guy. Or Guy. I have no idea.
Guy.
Guy? Doesn't it depend on where he's from?
Oh, maybe.
So, thank you. Marie says, by the way, I love watching both of you. Very comforting and insightful. I'm always trying to learn more plant-based recipes. Awesome. Then Kathy's Cooking Club would be a great place for you to be. And you can ask any of these guys about their experience. Not everybody here isn't in the cooking club, but there are cooking club members here. I love it because I get to hang out, and I feel like everybody lets me be very creative. So I love that. That's my favorite part about classes, is coming in and kind of going that extra mile. Aw, you're so sweet. Everybody's so awesome. Let's see what we got. ICAST, it's nice to see you. We've missed you. We've missed Doc's class a couple times. Actually, part of it because I was exhausted after class on Saturday. We were like, you remember how earlier, if you guys were watching, she said she takes me out of the house so I stop working. That was the day that I got taken out of the house to stop working. But yeah, joy of no electricity, a well pump not working yet. They look like little sea creatures, hush puppies. Yeah, when they're the long ones, yeah, but you can do them the ball ones too. Oh, and don't forget too, like I see you guys are talking about knitting, and don't forget there's vegan yarns. All yarn isn't wool or comes from an animal if you want to knit vegan. And again, I'm not trying to tell anybody what to do. Yep, we need someone with a serious dog side manner. He got sent away to camp twice when we got him in the beginning. And
He went to Manners Camp, and then he had to go back to Manners Camp.
And he does so much. He's on Prozac. I mean, he was hard for a very long time. He's gotten to where he's easier, or I've worn down.
He's better than we ever thought he could get this far.
So we still have to do a lot of things differently. However, in the end, I'm very glad. And Fergus decided he was going to live here. And they're managing their way around each other. It's not always perfect.
They got an interesting little relationship.
And usually Fergus is like, back off, dog.
Yeah.
Mini
Fergie
dogs
doesn't
don't like the
suffer
baby
fools.
talk. He
goes in spurts.
loves the baby talk.
But sometimes he doesn't. Some days he's just kind of like, oh.
Well, when we first got him, he was so freaked out. I have a meeting right now. I need to go. But I would put my legs out, and he'd curl up in, and I'd curl my legs around him, and we would just do the circle of love until he could calm down. And he's gotten to where he can calm himself down a little bit. Oh, good. I hope you enjoyed the cheese. What was the ingredient? Right? Was it tapioca starch?
Yeah.
I believe. Yes, it was 3 tablespoons of tapioca starch, Sandra. Oh my gosh, yes I do. And I have such the feels about gelatin because they feed it.
She freaks out.
No, it really makes me, it's so funny because I'll be like, you do you, right? You just saw me do one of those and you're like, what is wrong with her? But what makes me so angry is they feed it to babies, children, and sick people. And it's trash. It's just trash. And that's what makes me angry. Oh, good. Somebody send this recipe that I said out loud to Cheryl at support@healthyslowcooking.com, please. And then I have this so I could take some pictures tomorrow, and maybe I could even get it up if you help. I feel like I'm making one of these donation commercials. With your help, we can do this. We can make this cheese recipe. Get on the site. No, there was some dry mustard. Oh, there's dry mustard in there. I think I said 1/16 of a tablespoon. No, 1/16 of a teaspoon. Could be 1/8. I didn't measure it. Taste it and see what it seems. Yeah, it is. Of course, we drape them over the dogs. That's funny. And Janelle says, Cheryl, just watching you eat a slice of the block of cheese has got me drooling for a taste. I have to make it quick. I love cheese.
I know how to do a cheese trap.
And I think it's just really kind of nice. Like, I'm sorry, I actually decided I was going to make this 20 minutes before the live because Cheryl's been saying, I want tomato soup. And I'm like, I made tomato soup. Make your own tomato soup. And she didn't. So I'm like, let me just get this going. And she's had kind of a cranky day, and I thought this would be happy.
I've had a very cranky day.
Aw, thanks, JJ. Let's see. I'm trying to make sure I'm not always learning. Talk to me. Talk to me. We got you. Where are the recipes from the powder class? Like the original?
Dehydrator class.
there's a powder class. The first dehydrator class is the powder class. And some of those have recipes, I think. The dehydrator class, the third one, the second one, whichever one we had recently, I am writing up. I have pages of notes right now, and I'm trying to get everything all settled together. It's one of the things that I'm behind on, but I wanted to come hang out with you guys. I'm hoping to get that done over the weekend. I'm sorry I'm so behind. The past few months have just been really hard, but I've been getting my classes up. And the thing is, with that dehydrator class, there is no recipes. There really isn't. Like, we dehydrated beans, and then we dehydrated mostly single ingredients that I used in the soup class. So, like the caramelized onions. So I guess that's a recipe. Here, super secret ninja hint for all of you. Cut up a bunch of onions, put them in your slow cooker, cook them until they turn brown, dehydrate them. Caramelized onions, dehydrated. So most of them are that kind of recipe, the non-recipe. Yeah, nutritional yeast is delicious. I have people who are not vegan or vegetarian who are all up in the nutritional yeast because it adds a great umami flavor, and it's just delicious. Oh, Lisa, it's so good to see you. Lynn says, nope, homebody. I'm a homebody too. Betsy, thank you for being in our lives. Thanks you all so much for coming and hanging out with us. I wasn't sure how.
I feel better now that we've been on here talking to people. I'm not so cranky now.
Yeah, you guys really add to our lives as well, so please know that. And thanks for letting me just kind of do whatever I want, like make dinner and sit down and hang out with you, or just kind of be impromptu. I really appreciate it, and a lot. And Janice says the dal makhani from First Seed Foods is her favorite. And I think I have a link down below about First Seed Foods. They deliver once a month, so it'll be about a month before you would get your order. I think it's the word Kathy Hester gets you $10 off your first order, but it's down there. You can.
And if you don't see it, email support at healthyslowcooking.com and I will find it and give it to you.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. I can't wait to see you in the cooking club. And we're going to have a class next week. And next week, some classes, if it's stuff that's long, I'll film part of it. And we still do a live class, and I'll put up the filming, the video of whatever that one recipe is. Then we talk and back and forth. But it's going to be milk pulp class. So we're going to do a lot with okara or soy milk pulp. We're going to do some stuff with almond pulp and oat pulp. And so we're definitely making ricotta from okara, which is the thing I do all the time, which is ridiculously simple. We're going to do Hedron's okara cream cheese recipe, and I got some more in store for you. Aw, thanks, Apple. I love seeing you in Cooking Club. Where can you buy Kappa carrageenan on Amazon? Make sure that you're looking and that it's Kappa carrageenan. If you need a certain one, if you go up in the comments, Apple put my whole cheese class kind of board with all my Amazon links on it, so it should be up there along with lactic acid and things like that. Well, you're always welcome, Dee. You just come on. I don't take breaks is the thing. I just start new projects.
Oh, she put it again there, Apple.
Oh, good. Thanks, Apple. That's great. So, Jazz, there you go. And you can find it there. We do need to come to Destin. I'd love to meet the giant lizard because that would be hilarious. I'm sure he's delightful. And for a second, I thought you said in margaritas and said it's Mamacita. Right? Is that not hilarious? I can do that recipe. I'll run your voice through my screen reader for a transcript. That would be so sweet. You do so much for me, Apple. I just can never tell you just how much you're appreciated and loved and welcomed. And I just don't even know how to start thanking you for all the things you do for me. It means the world, though. It really does.
It's very helpful. Thank you so much.
Cass, you're so adorable. Mona, thanks. Thank
Yep.
you for being here, and thank you for my cool necklace that says Oak Queen. That was just awesome. Oh, I'm glad you're having a good chit chat. And Dee says I do all the pulps, and I'm like, part of what I clean the fridge out is I've been saving pulp for 3 weeks. That's a little too long. Don't do that. But also, I just use the new Mia mat. So my old Mia mat had gotten a little, the cylinder around it was loose, so I damaged the blade. I didn't really damage it. It's just not perfect. And my Okara is less than the new Mia mat, so I'm gonna have to get the old Mia mat to pulp it up. Okay, good. No, and sometimes I will say when I just make up recipes and they're not real recipes. So like I think I had a sushi class that like we made sushi rice. So I wrote the thing for sushi rice. I wrote the thing for jackfruit crab. But like I don't write down the veggie rolls because I'm literally like chop up some veggies and steam them and stick them in the roll. So at that point, I just want you to live your best life, as one would say. Thank you, Jazz, for hanging out. Oh, Betsy, I'm not Betsy, Bailey. I'm so sorry. I'm so glad that you got to come hang out. And seriously, though, you have to hook us up with the Australian TV. We need to see.
Yep.
Love Quirky. Quirky is and fun.
And hopefully we can get it here.
If not, we'll just pine for it, and that's okay too. Oh, Jill, thanks for hanging out with us and showing up. Jazz, I'm so glad you have enjoyed the evening. You guys are great company. Yeah, text sometimes helps in a lot of ways. Like, in fact, the thing I'm doing for the class, the dehydrator class, is I put the transcript through one program, made it into a PDF, and I'm querying it with ChatGPT to get the most pertinent information, because evidently I just said, a lot. It was a lot of filler. It was 50 pages of transcript. Most of it me going, I don't know, maybe. And so I'm like, this is also why it's taking so long, and the recipes for last class are up.
I pulled one of her videos into the script to try to do it fast, to edit it faster, and it was worse. Like, she starts saying a word and then she stops midstream and says something else, and it was just so hard to.
It is hard. I am hard. And I'm 20 minutes late for a meeting I'm supposed to go to, so I'm going to let you guys go. iCast is hungry. It's going to go eat something. And you guys, just the biggest amount of love and hugs to you guys. Thanks for hanging out with us for
3 hours.
Again, I was only going to do this for like an hour and a half. Okay.
Love you guys.
And we will talk to you guys real soon.
See you soon.